A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Table-ready meat and the Breakfast Club with Don McNeil.
Good morning, we like to see you smile. Good morning, it makes your life worthwhile. It's now Swiss called to breakfast and time to get a lift with a guy named Don McNeil and meat that's made by Swiss.
All right, here we go marching around the old breakfast table this morning. Gonna march with the boys and gals in the Borden General Hospital in Chickasha, Oklahoma, and I pronounce it right. Everybody march with them. Some fine marchers today. All right, kiddies, try and find somewhere near where you came from. Kiddies are in good marching form today. I wonder if Mrs. Kennedy of Boston, Massachusetts marched with them this morning. Here she is here. You certainly enjoyed your march, didn't you?
I certainly did.
Yes, it's nice sitting down, isn't it?
My feet are kind of sore.
Your feet are kind of sore? You didn't walk all the way from Boston, did you?
Well, I made an attempt.
Did you? Do you live in Boston now?
I did, but I'd love to move out here, Don.
Oh, really? Are you going to move to Chicago?
No one wants my children. I've been house hunting, but no one wants them. What am I to do?
Well, you want them, don't you?
Sure.
Oh, you don't want...
I want them here, not in Boston.
Oh, you want them with you? You mean you can't find a house where they'll take children?
That's right. Isn't that awful?
Well, I think it is, just between you and me, and I certainly hope you find something.
Well, I was wondering, you have a 2-car garage, don't you? Could you reconvert that?
Well, now, that is a thought. We not only have a 2-car garage, but 3 children, a dog, and a canary.
Well, perhaps my Marty and John could sleep in with your Tommy and Bobby and Donnie, and my Janet could sleep with me.
Yes. Well, that sounds awfully good, Mrs. Kennedy. But I tell you what, maybe some kind-hearted landlord is listening this morning around this area. You never know.
You never can tell, can you?
I hope so.
I hope so, too.
Yeah, I'd like to have you out this way.
I got an extra stall in my barn.
What?
I got an extra stall in my barn, if that'll help any.
No, not with you singing in there to Bessie.
We got a radio, too.
A radio, too?
Sure.
Uh-huh. I don't think Miss Kennedy's interested in the barn, are you, Miss Kennedy?
I do like your garage, though.
Oh, she's still back on that again. Is Captain Chase of Amarillo, Texas here? He's a flight surgeon. And also, I believe that Captain Chase just got himself married.
That's right.
When was that, Captain?
About 5 days ago.
5 days ago. This, I presume, is the happy bride next to you.
That's right.
Uh-huh. Where did you get married, Captain?
Denver.
Denver, Colorado?
That's right.
Are you a Denver girl?
No, I'm an Amarillo girl.
Oh, are you an Amarillo boy?
No, I'm a Denver boy.
Oh. Well, it comes out even. Lots of luck to both of you, and I hope you'll be married for a long, long time to come. It's Jim Kettleson of Davenport, Iowa here. Where are you, Jim? Come on up here, Jim. Here's a guy who really worked in order to come to the Breakfast Club, so it says here on the card, and looking at this young fellow who is 14 years old, I believe, I wouldn't be surprised if this were actually the case. They didn't just let him come to the Breakfast Club. They made him work for it before he got here. Hope he thinks it's worth it. But, Jim, tell us, what did you have to do to get here to the Breakfast Club?
Oh, shovel coal and ice, shovel snow and cut grass and everything.
Holy smoke. You must have been working all winter, too. Huh?
Yeah.
And they said if you did all that, you'd come to Breakfast Club, huh?
Yes.
You think it's worth it, Jim?
Sure is.
Well, gee, I'm glad to hear you say that. You brought your lunch with you, too, huh?
Sure.
Your folks with you, Jim?
No, I got a buddy, though, from back in Davenport. He'd like to come up, too.
All right, let him come on up here. Fine. Has he been shoveling coal and,
Sure, he works right with me.
He works right with you,
Yeah.
huh? Do you fellas get paid for this stuff, shoveling coal?
Sure.
Oh, well, that's fine. How you doing? How'd you do during the winter? Did you make out pretty well?
Oh, yeah.
How much dough did you make?
Oh, about $30.
Atta boy, that's fine. How'd you do?
Okay.
You're his buddy, are you?
Yeah.
Who's the boss of your outfit here, you two fellas?
I don't know.
What?
We both
You
are.
both are, huh? It's a mutual admiration society. Well, that's fine. How do you work it? Do you just go to somebody's house, knock on the door, and say, would you like your coal shovel or something?
Yeah, that's it. Shovel snow or cut grass in the summer.
Yes, it's kind of hard these days to find snow shoveling jobs, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We cut grass
Cut
now.
grass now, huh?
Yeah.
Well, that's fine. Back in Davenport?
Yeah. Yes.
You fellas ought to have a name for your business. Have you got any name for it?
No.
Well, why don't we give it a name right now? The Davenport Handyman. Is that all right?
That's swell.
All right, fine. What would be your telephone number?
35349.
In Davenport?
Yes.
Friends in Davenport, if you have any lawns to be cut, any grass, call that number and ask for the Davenport Handyman. I got you set up in business, kids. You're all set. All right, bye. All right, well, now let's call on Curley Bradley here, the famous singer who graduated from the barn to the Breakfast Club, and who now pictures his kindly old Bessie in front of his face and sings...
There must be a way.
Yeah.
There must be a way to help me forget that we're through. There must be a way to stop me from dreaming of you. There must be a star in the sky that isn't reflecting your eyes. I just don't know how to disguise how much I miss you. There must be a song that doesn't remind me of you. There must be a kiss to thrill me like yours used to do. I look for a way to be happy, happy with somebody new. Oh, there must be a way, but I can't find the way without you. Must be a song that doesn't remind me of you. There must be a kiss
to thrill me like yours used to do. I looked for a way to be happy, happy with somebody new. Oh, there must be a way, but I can't find the way without you.
Very nice, Curley. You know, friends, we have different times on the Breakfast Club. Memory time, inspiration time, and so on. Well, what's coming next is the poem by Curly Bradley, and this we call Corn Time. Usually Jack Owens reads this, but of course Jack isn't with us now. And there's something unusual about this poem that Curly is going to read in his place. It's kind of the type of poem that one can read over the air, but one wouldn't dare express one's opinion of it over the same air. But I hope you've got your radio tuned to this program. It's a lot of trouble to get up and twist the dial and all that, so why don't you listen anyway? Here it comes.
Little boy blue, it's time to eat. Swift's premium table ready meat. Help yourself to all the potatoes and eat all you want of the plump tomatoes. Here, don't mind your manners when you eat. Get a fistful of Swift's premium table ready meat. Use the wrong fork and use the wrong spoon. Act like a perfect little goon. Do anything you want. With your knife, eat the corn. But little boy blue, don't blow that blasted blankety-blank dag-ratted horn.
Very good, Curly, very good.
Well, folks, I'm not little boy blue, but I'm certainly going to blow the horn about Swift's premium table-ready meats. Really, friends, these flavorful, zestful meats are truly delicious. They're light, yet the flavor is full-bodied. Try them. You'll notice a distinctive flavor with your first mouth-watering bite. For Swift's premium table-ready meats have that famous flavor goodness you'll find in all Swift's premium meats. You see, Swift's premium table-ready meats are prepared with true home kitchen care. Swift's experts take the temptingly delicious, the nourishing meats and give them just the right taste perfection by adding rare, delicate spices. Less than a pound serves 4 or more, so you're point-wise and thrifty when you serve Swift's premium table-ready meats.
I'm so glad you're here this morning, Curly, because you're such an expert on pronunciation.
Oh, yeah.
Especially of towns in Oklahoma.
Yep.
We marched this morning with the boys and board in General Hospital in Oklahoma, town in Oklahoma, and I'm sure I must have mispronounced it, and I know you can help me out.
What'd you say?
Chickasha. I said Chickasha.
Oh, Mr. McNeil.
That is not right, I've
No.
taken.
The name is pronounced Chickasha.
Chickasha.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm very happy to...
Chickasha.
Well, it could just as well be Chickasha, you know.
No, it can't.
Yeah.
It's got to be Chickasha.
All right, Chickasha.
Don't you ever go to Chickasha and call it Chickasha.
I won't.
Unless you want to run fast.
Yeah. Don't you ever go to Reading, Pennsylvania, either.
Reading? Yesterday you said it was Reading.
That's what it is. That's what I mean.
Well, why did you just say Reading?
Because that's what you said yesterday. Don't ever go to Reading and call it Reading. I mean Reading and call it Reading. Now you got me all mixed up.
Yes, sir. That light's coming back in your eye, McNeil.
What do you mean?
You're showing that nervous sign again.
Oh, you want me to get out of here and go fishing?
Just wait a minute. I'm going to hit somebody in the head.
No, wait a minute. Well, for goodness sake. What do you
thank
got
you.
there? Well, say, where did you get those?
Mama bought them.
Where did Mama buy?
Say, ladies, when hubby calls up at the last minute and tells you he's bringing the boss over for dinner in a few minutes, that means you've got some quick work to do. So remember Swift's premium table-ready meats. All you have to do with these handy taste tempters is just put them on the plate. Of course, heavy war demands have cut down the available civilian supply, but there's a grand variety of these famous flavor favorites, so while your dealer may be out of one kind, he may be well supplied with another. See what he has today. Swift's premium table-ready meats.
This is the American Broadcasting Company.
NBC presents Short Story. Tonight, The Piano by Ben Ames Williams. You may remember Strange Woman, the Ben Ames Williams novel, a powerful, brooding tale with a strong, dramatic line. He's that kind of a writer, always at grips with the major passions. Best of all, he's never dull. This same quality of excitement comes through in his short stories in a book entitled Fraternity Village. Our favorite was one called The Piano. You'll hear it transcribed immediately following this message from the United States Marine Corps. In the official records, Parris Island, South Carolina, and San Diego, California, are known as Marine Corps recruit depots. But to Marines and Marine veterans, these two places represent an unforgettable part of their lives known as boot camp. The Marine Corps has trained its recruits at Parris Island on the eastern seaboard since 1915. The recruit depot on the West Coast was established in 1923 at San Diego. Through war and peace, these boot camps have set Marines out into the world with a background of thorough training, leadership, and rich tradition. When a man has completed his recruit training, he is...
With money, she'd skim milk at both ends. What you suppose Brad'll do now?
Well, his sister Amanda's out there till day after tomorrow. Then I reckon he'll just go on farming his peace.
Him and May always kept pretty much themselves anyways. I hear she left him $5,000.
Oh, I wouldn't take stock in everything I hear, Will.
You suppose Brad ever really cared for May, Doc? I never seen him pass a word of love in 20 years together.
The way I always figured it, Brad Miller is a man who ain't got the gift of speech. Now, there's a good many folks find it easy to talk blame, but can't get out a word of caring for fear they'll be took for sentimental.
Sure ain't my way, Doc. I always figured it couldn't do no harm to say to my Ellen, may she rest in peace, you're a decent sort, and I love you dearly.
Tain't that easy for everybody. I knew Brad pretty close. I always suspected he had deep feelings for May. But by the time he got ready to say 'em, she was beyond listening.
Yeah.
I remember once, about 8 years ago, I drove by Brad's farm, and I...
Clam up, Doc. Here he comes.
Why, what do you suppose he's doing in town the night his wife was put to rest?
I don't know, but he sure looks bluer than a whetstone. Evening, Brad. I'm mighty sorry.
Evening, Brad.
Well, Doc?
How are you making it, Brad?
I'm all right, Doc.
I'm truly sorry.
You done what you could, Doc.
Yeah, well, I got a call to make out to the Turners. I'll be scooching along. Good night, Brad. If you need anything...
I'll manage, Doc. Good night.
What can I do for you, Brad?
You still got that piano you once ordered for old man Swanson before he was took?
Still got her.
I wonder if I could see it.
She's out back in the shed.
I'd like to see it.
Well, I reckon. This way.
It's a player piano, ain't it?
That's right.
My May, she mentioned it to me.
There she is. Trifle dusty. Good yellow oak, though. Stoutest piano you ever did see.
You got some rolls of music to fit it?
I got some.
Beautiful Ohio.
Well, let's see now. Bells of St. Mary's. Missouri Waltz. Beautiful Ohio, sure enough.
Could I hear it, maybe?
You're all right, ain't you, Brad?
I'm all right. I'd like to hear it.
Well, she's somewhat out of tune, but if you don't mind, here we go. You pump a bit to get her started.
That's enough. How much?
75 cents a roll.
Well, the piano, I mean.
Now, you ain't figuring on buying a piano.
I am.
But you don't play the piano, Brad.
My wife, May, can play.
Brad, your May's dead.
It's all in a manner of looking at it. She always wanted a piano.
But she's dead, Brad.
No call for her to be without a piano. We spoke of it ever so often, but somehow I never got around to getting it for her. Seemed like there was always something. One year, a new roof for the hen house. Next, we was after a herd bull. Then it was seeding the pasture. She had a heart that set on it, too. But there was always something, seemed like. I'll take it.
Brad, this piano costs $600.
You send it round in the morning.
You got that much money?
I got some insurance fella brought it today. Let's see. $3, $4, $5, $600. There you are. You send it round first thing in the morning. My sister Amanda will be there.
Don't bump it through the jam there. All right now, boys. Hold her up a minute. Hold her up. Where do you want this piano set down, Amanda?
Set it against the parlor wall. Such foolishness as I never seed.
All right now, boys. Set it down easy. Easy. That's it. Now, you boys wait out in the truck. I'll be a minute. You sign this receipt for the merchandise, Amanda?
Why don't you get Brad to sign it?
Ain't you and Brad on good terms?
Tain't that.
What's wrong?
Well,
What is it? Something wrong with Brad?
Well, you know how Brad's all about killing God's critters.
I recollect he wouldn't be took in the last war. Said he'd rather rot than kill a man.
He wouldn't harm a hair on anyone, Brad wouldn't. Till now, that is.
What's he done now?
Well, he ain't done it yet. But just before you come, Brad went up to the attic and come down with his pa's old shotgun. Wouldn't say a word. Just loaded it up and went back toward the hen house. That's why I wanted you to go down there. I'd have gone myself, but I've been crazy afeard of what I'd find.
Amanda, you don't think Brad...
I don't know. I never seen him so strange.
Maybe I'd best go down there.
But don't let on you're concerned, Will. I wouldn't want to mortify Brad by him thinking we didn't trust him with himself.
No, don't worry. I'll make up some story about the piano needing to be tuned. He won't...
Oh, God.
You stay here. I'll go down there. What in tarnation?
Good morning, Will.
I hear the shotgun go off. I wondered you...
I was just trying it out. You got the piano delivered?
Just now. What you doing, Brad? How come you got that shotgun rigged up like that?
Did Amanda put it in the parlor like I told her?
Yes. Brad, what you figuring on doing?
Oh, don't get yourself all puffed up in a gale, Will. A fox has been stealing May's prize setting hens. I'm just setting up a spring gun to kill it.
Well, I'll be...
Well, you know I never held with killing God's critters, Will. But them hens was May's pride and joy. I promised her before she was took that I'd stop that fox. See here. I got this cod line attached to the trigger. Then back through this pulley to the window sash. He's going to be mighty surprised. I got number 3 shot and half a dozen 00 buck. Just tested it out. It works fine. Well, you understand, don't you, Will? I can't let any critter kill May's hens. You understand that?
Sure, Brad. I understand. Just be careful with that rig. Man get his head blowed off with that.
You going to bed? It's past 9. We got to catch my train at 6 tomorrow morning.
You go ahead, Amanda. It pleasures me to sit in the dark and hear the music.
Well, I left some milk and corn muffins on the sideboard.
Thank you kindly, Amanda.
Good night, Brad.
Amanda.
Yeah?
When we was young'uns, do you ever recollect Pa and Ma putting their arms around us and saying that they loved us?
Oh, Pa and Ma didn't have time for no such nonsense. What was trying to find them rocks we lived on.
I wonder what happened to us.
What?
Oh, nothing.
Oh. Well, don't stay up too late. Good night, Brad.
Night, Amanda. Well, May, I got you the piano. Funny. Seems like I've been sitting here the whole blessed night thinking about you and me and how we was. I've been remembering the first time we met over at the church social when I spilled the ice cream on you. You remember? I've been trying to figure out what happened to us. Seems like we never really got to speak what we felt for each other. Maybe it was the work, so doggone much work all the time. Work all the time. I can remember whole days, too, when we barely spoke a word to each other. Like we was 1,000 miles apart. I wonder now if you ever really knew, May, about the feelings I had buried way down underneath. They was there, May. Times I wanted to tell you. Times I felt like crying just looking at you them first years. I guess you never knowed. Seems a pity now. I wish you was here, May. It's lonesome.
Mind yourself now, Brad. I'll be back tomorrow morning early.
I'll be all right now.
You best stop at Will Bissell's and pick up some flour and sugar. Oh, and one of them new dry dusters. I'll give the place a good standing up.
I'll do that.
Oh, bye, Brad.
Bye, Amanda.
Say, mister.
Yeah?
I'm new in town. I wonder if you could help me out.
Well, that depends.
Is there a hotel around?
No hotel, but if you're looking for a room, you might inquire over at the general store. Will Bissell generally knows about them things.
Thanks.
If you're looking for some work, I might could use a hand for a day or two.
No, thanks. I'm just passing through.
Suit yourself. I'm out on Roxbury Road if you change your mind. Miller, Brad Miller.
Hello, Brad.
Hi, Brad.
Hello, Will. Doc.
You get that fox yet?
No, not...
Brad, you'd think he was poor poverty in a gale of wind. You wouldn't think he had $20,000.
Well, what makes you think he's got 20,000?
Gay Hunt had it from a lawyer at the county seat.
I wouldn't credit Gay Hunt with cleaving to the truth.
It figures, though, Doc. Man like Brad Miller don't walk in here and shell out $600 for a piano he can't even play. Listen, he's got plenty to spare. He don't keep it in no bank either.
How do you know?
Sarah Phillips over at the bank. She told me Brad don't even keep an account there. Well, if Brad Miller'd keep $20,000 hid around his house, he's a bigger fool than most.
Here's the money for the pop.
Eh?
I guess I'll be pushing along.
Well, ain't you going to wait for Miss Tunkett?
I think I'll move on.
Suit yourself. Say, though, ain't I met you somewhere before?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't think so, friend.
I swear I've seen your face before. Was it over at the county seat?
Stop guessing, Elmer. I don't know you from Adam.
You sure?
Positive.
Ain't that a stumper? You sure look like somebody I seen.
If you're smart, you won't lose any sleep.
Feel me in every room. What's that? Who's there? Funny, I swear I heard a door. Wonder if that fox is at the hen house again. Maybe I better go back and look. What's the matter, kid? You sense something? Somebody's in there. If there's anybody in that room, you'd best come forth now. Can you hear me? If you're in there, come out. All right, I'm coming in. You best mind you... Tied up. How'd I get tied to this chair? Oh. Gotta think now. There was somebody in there. There he is upstairs. Must be a sneak thief. I gotta get out of this. What a dang fool I'd be without even a gun in the house. He's coming down. I sure did a good job of tying me. You.
Well, so you come too. I thought maybe that chop on the head croaked you.
What do you want with me?
You know darn well what I want, Homer. I hear you got 20 grand stashed away in this house.
You're crazy,
Am
mister.
I? Now listen, Homer.
My name is Brad.
It'll be mud if you don't smarten up, Homer. I ain't kidding one little bit, and you don't fool me one little bit. Now, you gonna talk?
I got nothing to say.
Okay. We're gonna argue this out between us, just you and me. Where is it?
I ought to bust your haslet coming in here like this.
I'm gonna find that dough if I have to take this place apart board by board. You might as well tell me.
All the money I got is underneath that clock on the mantelpiece.
22 bucks. You don't think I'm going to fall for that, do you, Homer?
That's it.
I told you, old man, I got the dope on you. I know you got a pile of lettuce someplace around here. I can dig it out if I want, but I'm lazy, see?
Folks been lying to you, mister.
What about this piano, Homer? The guy at the store said you paid him $600 cash for it.
That was all the money I got for the insurance, $600.
You play the piano, Homer?
No.
So you took your last $600 and bought a piano you can't play?
My wife always wanted one.
Where's she?
Dead.
You think I'm kidding, don't you, Jocko? We'll try this for laughs. All right, where is it?
I told you.
Okay, Junior. You want to play rough. This is a pretty good cigar. But I don't feel like smoking. So I'm going to put it out. Right in your face. I got lots more cigars, lots more matches. The next one goes in your eye, Pop. Well? Okay. Now talk. Stubborn, huh?
I just decided if I did have any money here, I wouldn't tell you anyways. I know you're kind.
Oh, man, you got lots of guts or no brains, one or the other. But you gotta come across or go across, old man. I need traveling money now. I need it quick. Where is it? Where is it? Okay, Homer. I'm putting this clock on the table. It's 10:15. I'll give you till 20 past. If you ain't told by then, I'll take this axe here and split your head.
You might as well kill me now. I had a strong hankering to die lately anyways.
You don't fool me, Homer. 5 minutes.
If I go to sleep, you wake me up, will you?
You got 2 minutes.
You woke me up.
Come on, old man. Where is it? The cellar? Is it in the house somewhere? How about this sewing machine? No. Okay, Homer. I guess you and me wasted enough time. How about a little music, just so the screams don't bother any neighbors?
Keep off that piano.
I always say there ain't anything like music to soothe the savage beast.
You get your dirty paws off that piano.
Well, you sure think a lot of this piano, don't you? A little too much, maybe. It ain't natural. So maybe the money is in here, huh?
Listen, don't bust that piano. I got it because my wife wanted one. Don't monkey with it. Please, mister.
Monkey with it? I'll monkey with you.
Now, stop it. Please, stop it! Stop it, you pig! Stop it, you dirty pig!
You old hound. There wasn't anything in it after all.
I told you to leave it alone. I gave you your chance.
Okay, Homer. You had it. Your time's run out. Now, I'm giving you one last chance to talk before I put this axe in your skull. I'll count 5. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Wait.
That's better.
You busted her piano. You busted May's piano.
You ain't gonna talk.
I'll tell.
Spill.
The money.
How much?
$20,000.
Where?
Go back through the shed.
And then?
Well, the money's in the hen house.
What part?
You push up the window and reach down inside. You'll feel a nest. Lift it up. The money's in a tin box underneath.
If it ain't there, Homer, you're gonna die awful slow.
It's there.
It better be.
I'll be back. Nope. You won't be back. He busted your piano, May. Well, maybe one day I'll have money to get you another. Funny thing, we just never could seem to get enough of that piano. Well...
You have heard The Piano by Ben Ames Williams. The dramatization for radio was by George Lefferts of NBC. In tonight's cast, Will was Junius Matthews. Doc was Ted Von Eltz. Brad was Jeff Corey. Amanda was Gail Bonney. The stranger was Shep Mencken. The animal sounds were by Earl Keane. Your announcer, Don Stanley. The director of NBC Presents Short Story is Andrew C. Love. Be with us next week as NBC presents Short Story. At that time, a story with an unusual setting, America's vaudeville circuit. The story, 52 Weeks by Florette by Elizabeth Alexander. Join us next week. And in the meantime, bear in mind this message from the United States Marine Corps. One of the primary reasons Marines develop their spirit, confidence, and ability is the thorough training they receive at boot camp. The Marines have earned the respect of the entire world because they have always been ready for action whenever and wherever they were needed. And that kind of readiness and fighting ability results from superior training. Marine training is rugged training. It helps to make every man a part of the team and every man a leader. Marines say it's a good feeling to have the confidence to handle a fighting man's job. And also, it's important to his family and to our country. For it's this very training that gives the United States Marine the ability and confidence to expect and attain victory. This is NBC, the national broadcasting company.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we take you to the most famous brownstone house in New York City, the one located at number 601 West 35th Street.
Oh, Mr. Wolf. Mr. Wolf.
Want something, Archie?
Would you be interested in taking on a case involving a woman who was found stabbed to death in one of New York's fancier men's clubs?
Can't you see I'm already occupied, Archie? My Oncidium hybrid is ailing.
But, sir, cash. C-A-S-H. Remember, you need it to live on?
Well, you're actually learning to spell.
You'd better learn to count. We're broke.
Thank you, Mr. Goodwin. Now, if you'll just go away and stop interfering. Oh, just a minute.
Yes, sir?
On your way out, switch on the fan.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's that one and only man of mood. The most famous detective in modern fiction. That corpulent, orchid-raising, beer-drinking gourmet who also happens to be a genius. Rex Stout's incomparable Nero Wolf, starring Mr. Sidney Greenstreet. Tonight, Nero Wolf's long-suffering assistant, Archie Goodwin, tells us of the case of the Careless Cleaner.
Michelson very well at the time, for Mr. Wolf had hung one of the Michelson's paintings on the library wall. But then I guess we should have considered ourselves lucky not to have known him or his wife, Sheila. 2 weeks ago, they had a quarrel.
Oh, Clay, darling, I didn't expect you home so soon. I thought you were going to the museum to see the Van Goghs.
I decided not to, Sheila.
Oh. Well, if you plan to paint this afternoon, I'll get out of the studio. I want to run some errands anyway.
Why don't you make your phone call from here, Sheila?
Phone call?
Who is it, Sheila?
He?
Who are you waiting for this afternoon?
Please, Clay, don't start that jealousy routine again.
Don't try to kid me.
You're being stupid, Clay.
I'm stupid, all right, but I'm getting wise pretty fast. I'm through, Sheila. I've had enough. I'm leaving you. So stay out of my way and keep your boyfriend out of my way, too, whoever he is, or I'll kill him. Yes? What can I do for you?
Sleepy. I want to have a drink and go to bed.
I'm sorry, sir. The Garrison Club's a private establishment. No rooms available to the public.
You think I'm drunk?
Oh, no, sir.
Why do you suppose I came here?
And I'm sure I wouldn't know, sir.
I'll tell you why. I came here to see my old pal Lou Saunders. That's why.
You know Mr. Saunders?
Do I know? Look, I paint him. Lou sells him.
Mr. Saunders is your agent?
I'm Clay Michelson. Just call Mr. Saunders.
Clay?
What in the world? Lou, tell this guy who I am.
But I'm sorry, Mr. Saunders.
It's all right, Mr. Martin. You see? Let's go have a drink.
Yeah, sure, Clay. Yeah.
You know what, Lou? I left feeling. If I walked out on her.
Is there something I can do, Mr. Saunders?
Yeah, have someone fix a bed in the other room of my suite. Mr. Michelson will be staying with me. At least for tonight.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes, Archie?
It's Friday.
Good. Fish for dinner, then.
Nope. I was not referring to dinner.
You were not? I can think of nothing more interesting at the moment.
Oh, I can. My salary.
Of course, according to the Julian calendar.
We're on the Gregorian, so let's stick to it. Today is Friday. Today I get paid.
Archie, there's a drop.
Oh, don't exaggerate. You can't be getting the cold shutters just because I'm asking for my money.
I can distinctly feel fresh air flowing into the room.
Well, it's possible I might have opened the window 6 inches.
You're insane. Shut it at once.
Nope.
Are you trying to blackmail me?
Think it might work?
Never.
Then the window stays open.
You're fired.
I accept your offer. All you have to do is pay up.
I've hired you again.
Oh, Mr. Wolf, you've cleaned out the bank balance again?
Well, that is... Well, had you seen those Miltonians...
Would I have voluntarily given up my paycheck for them? Orchids are very beautiful, Mr. Wolf, but blondes are...
Michelson.
Yes, well, that's why I'm here. It's about Michelson, Mr. Wolf, that I've come. Frankly, I think the man's about to go mad. He and his wife have split up, and
such a splendid artist, too. A pity.
I don't know what to do. He's drinking like a fish. For 2 weeks I've been letting him live in part of my suite at the Garrison Club, but he's just steadily getting worse.
Can I try a hospital?
I can't. The publicity. Mr. Wolf, Clay admired you so that time we all had dinner after the painting transaction. I thought maybe you could talk to him. Maybe you could get him on his feet again.
I'm not a doctor, Mr. Saunders.
But I'm sure he'd listen to you.
Excuse me a moment, Mr. Saunders. Nero Wolf speaking.
Inspector Kramer.
Good evening, Inspector.
Got a guy called Lou Saunders at your place? Garrison Club said he'd gone to your place.
Yes, he's here.
Well, see to it that he doesn't leave until I get there.
I'd hardly do that, Inspector. I have no reason to detain Mr. Saunders.
There's plenty of reason. It so happens a woman's just been murdered in her suite.
Murdered?
Yeah. A Miss Hilda Lundgren.
What's happened?
Will you hold him?
Do you know a Miss Hilda Lundgren, Saunders?
Hilda Lundgren? I've never heard of her.
She seems to have chosen your suite to be murdered in.
I'd better get right over there.
Mr. Saunders says to tell you he'll be right over, Inspector.
Now listen, Wolf.
Good day, Inspector.
Murdered? Murdered in my suite? Mr. Wolf, you've got to come with me.
Mr. Goodwin will accompany you after the formality of a retainer, Mr. Saunders.
Oh, anything you say. Here, I'll write a check.
Good. 500.
500? Fine.
My friend and assistant, Mr. Goodwin, will go with you. I have great confidence in his ability to bring back every detail of a murder, particularly where a woman's involved.
Okay, you photographers, picnic's over for tonight. Pick up your stuff and get out of here.
You sound real mean today, Inspector Kramer.
Well, if it isn't Nero Wolf's favorite stooge. What are you doing here, Goodwin?
I got bored with my knitting.
Look, I wasn't asking for humor.
I'm Louis Saunders, Inspector.
Saunders? Ever seen that woman before?
Yes, I believe I have. I can't remember where, but the face looks familiar.
Lovely-looking woman. Blonde and really built.
Well, she ought to look familiar. She's one of the cleaning women here at the club.
She is? Cleaning? Well, since when have gals like this been reduced to cleaning floors? What's happening to the world? There ought to be a law.
Yeah, there is. She was killed with a knife, or haven't you had time to notice?
That's not a knife, Inspector Kramer. That's one of Clay's Chinese letter openers. He used it.
What was that?
Well, nothing. Nothing at all. Yes, it is a strange knife.
What were you saying, Mr. Saunders?
Just said that looks like one of the letter openers belonging to one of my friends.
Who is this Clay?
Clay Michelson, the artist. You can't possibly think he'd do a thing like this.
I think everybody did it until we know otherwise. When were you last up here, Mr. Saunders?
Me? Just a little while ago. I changed my clothes just before I went to see Mr. Wolf.
She wasn't here then?
Well, I don't know. I didn't come into this room, just in my part of the suite.
Your part? Who occupies this room?
Mr. Michelson. He's been staying with me.
Strange wound, no blood.
What do you think you are, Goodwin, a medical examiner?
Oh, but
Yeah. The killer probably wiped the blood away. Saunders, have you any idea where your artist friend might have run off to?
I haven't seen Clay all afternoon. He spends a lot of time down in the bar.
Well, he'd hardly sit in a bar if he's killed somebody.
Why would he pick on the cleaning woman?
Oh, this is no ordinary cleaning woman. Get a load of that figure.
Watch it, Goodwin, watch it. You're liable to stretch your brain.
But you're wrong. In spite of everything, Clay's still terribly in love with his wife. He wouldn't...
Hello? Where did you get it?
Yeah, who's this?
Clay.
We're your friends, Lou. They won't serve me any more liquor down at the bar. I gotta find my flask.
Mr. Michelson, may I introduce you to Inspector Kramer of the police?
Who's this guy, Oz?
He's Nero Wolf's assistant.
Wolf? Police? Well, what do you all want? Somebody parked overtime? Where's my flask? The one with my initials. I just bought it this morning.
Mr. Michelson, do you know that somebody was murdered here in your room?
Murdered? Why don't you guys go away and joke with somebody else? Where's my flask?
You better get hold of yourself. I said there's been a murder. Understand?
Serious?
Yep. And I wouldn't be surprised if Inspector Kramer here considers you top suspect.
Me? They think I did it?
You better pull yourself together, Clay.
Yeah, because I got a lot of questions.
Excuse me, the phone.
Sit down, Mr. Saunders. I'll answer it. Hello?
Who is it?
This is Inspector Kramer. Hello? Hello? Who is Fila? Anyone know?
Well, that's my wife.
Your wife?
I want to speak to her.
Come back here, Michelson. Let me alone. You're not going anywhere. Now, stay back there.
You're wrong, Inspector. I am going somewhere.
Junior's got a gun.
Yes, Inspector. You should be more careful about your gun when you shove people.
Now, look, Mr. Michelson,
I'll see Mr. Wolf myself. Stay back, Inspector.
You haven't got a chance. We'll nab you before you get a block away.
Well, then I'll just jerk these phone wires. And I'll lock the doors. That should hold you long enough. Good night.
Nero Wolf speaking.
Oh, Kramer.
Indeed.
Clay Michelson may be on his way over there. Hold him until I get there.
Hold him, why?
Not more than 10 minutes ago, he held me up at the point of a gun.
You carries a gun?
It was my gun.
Careless of you, Inspector. Goodbye. Come in.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes?
My name is Clay Michelson.
Yes, I was rather expecting you.
You've got to help me. They think I murdered someone.
You shouldn't have run away from the police.
I've been drinking a lot, but I wouldn't murder anyone. Fela'd tell you that.
Your wife. Is she the model in that painting of yours I purchased?
What difference does that make? I tell you, they're after me for murder.
You obviously loved your wife deeply at the time you painted her.
Oh, here you are, Mr. Wolf. Michelson, Clay. Good Lord, man, the police are on their way over here.
He came for my help, Mr. Saunders.
Oh, I'm glad he did, Mr. Wolf. But we left Inspector Kramer talking from a phone booth. He'll be here any minute.
And we have only a minute to decide why anyone would want to kill a cleaning woman.
I didn't kill anybody.
She was a beautiful woman, Mr. Wolf.
I gathered that, Archie, from your unusual interest in the case.
She was stabbed with a letter opener from Mr. Michelson's house.
Which might add Mrs. Michelson to our suspect list.
Fila? You can't suspect Fila.
You're very gallant, Mr. Michelson. Just how was this beautiful young cleaning woman, this Miss Lundgren, stabbed?
In the heart. Her eyes were wide open, pupils dilated with shock. And
Details later, Archie. Kramer will be here shortly. The moment I would like to know where everyone was.
Well, Mr. Saunders was here with us, you remember. I don't know where Mrs. Michelson was, but I could go see her and find out.
No, it won't be necessary, Archie. Mr. Michelson, where were you?
Me? Why, I'm not sure. I can't seem to remember.
That's hardly what we would call helpful.
I was drunk. Maybe I went to Fila's. I've been over there lots this week trying to talk to her. Yes, I must have gone over there.
Have you ever seen the murdered woman before?
No, I never saw her before in my life.
I've seen her before, Mr. Wolf.
Indeed, Mr. Saunders. I seem to remember your earlier statement to the contrary.
Well, I didn't know her name, but when I saw her, I remembered her. I understand she was quite an alcoholic.
Unfortunate woman. Beautiful woman.
Well, look who's here, Inspector Kramer.
Oh, here you are, Michelson.
And as usual, you didn't have the courtesy to ring the bell, Inspector.
And give you a chance to get this guy out of here? Nothing doing, Wolf. Now, come on. We're going to headquarters.
Mr. Wolf, you can't let him take me. I didn't do it.
I'm afraid there's not much I can do about it, Mr. Michelson.
Come on. You come along too, Saunders. I got to get a statement from you.
Of course.
This way. Come on.
Well, all right. I just got an angle.
Really, Archie?
Sure, it's simple. Saunders been going for this beautiful cleaning babe. Clay worms in. Saunders kills her.
Perhaps there was jealousy somewhere in this case, Archie. Nero Wolf speaking.
Mr. Wolf, this is Fila Michelson. You don't know me, but you once bought a painting from
Mrs. Michelson, have some of this delicious beer. Another can, Archie. And now, Mrs. Michelson, may I ask how you found out there was a murder in the first place?
A policeman came to see me. He told me what had happened, that they were looking for Clay. I don't know what to think. He's temperamental, he's jealous, and he's sometimes violent, but I can't imagine anything like this, not Clay. Maybe some of those friends of his, but...
You don't care for your husband's friends?
No, they all live off him. They're leeches.
Mrs. Michelson, did your husband come to see you this afternoon?
This afternoon? No.
You're quite positive?
Oh, yes.
That was his alibi for the time of the murder. He said he went to see you. Of course, he was fuzzy, usual effect of alcohol on the brain cells, but, Mrs. Michelson, might I be a little indiscreet for a moment?
Indiscreet?
Have you been seeing some other man?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Please, Mrs. Michelson, I'm afraid your face gives away more than you tell.
I thought we were here to talk about a murder, Mr. Wolf.
Indeed, but your husband's jealousy might well fit into that category.
Clay imagine things.
You're a very beautiful woman, Mrs. Michelson. Now, if you'll try telling me the truth, perhaps we can accomplish something.
But I tell you... All right. So I thought I was in love with another man.
Your husband suspected but didn't know, huh?
No. Clay didn't know. He wouldn't have given me a divorce anyway.
You sound as though you want your husband back.
I did, but I didn't even know where he went.
Indeed, Mrs. Michelson. Archie informs me that the murdered woman was quite lovely.
What are you trying to suggest?
You said yourself you wanted your husband back.
Yeah, one woman jealous of another, that's always murder.
Why, that's stupid. Clay wouldn't play around with a maid. That's stupid. Clay loves me. I'm not jealous of anyone. No one, do you understand?
Archie, if you'll see Mrs. Michelson home...
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I can find my own way.
I prefer Archie took you, Mrs. Michelson. You wanted my help, didn't you? Thanks. Thank you, Mrs. Michelson. If you will just wait outside for a moment, please.
What have you got in mind, Mr. Wolf?
Try exercising your own judgment just once, Archie.
You mean she's the one who's jealous?
Perhaps, Archie. Perhaps she may want us to think she was jealous. Perhaps she actually doesn't want her husband back at all, only to pin a murder on him.
Oh.
You see, in this case, it would be simpler than divorce.
Yeah? Yeah, she might just be trying to get rid of him.
She might, Archie. But then she's a woman, so don't count on anything. She might even be telling the truth.
This is where I live, Mr. Goodwin.
Nice. Very nice. I like Greenwich Village.
I'm trying to figure out why Mr. Wolf sent you along with me.
I'm a sucker for beautiful women.
I wonder. Archie.
Huh?
Does Mr. Wolf believe me?
He hasn't made an official statement yet. Nice furniture and things.
You sound like an appraiser or someone looking for something.
That's because it's November.
Mr. Wolf sent you to search my apartment.
You could be wrong. I don't... Oh.
What's the matter now?
Thought you said your husband hadn't been here today.
He wasn't.
And what's his flask doing among these papers on the desk? Very prettily decorated with his initials. He was looking for it at the club.
Flask? I don't know what it's doing there.
Yeah, sure. You're trying to help, Clay. Right into the electric chair. His only alibi was his being here this afternoon, and you said he wasn't. Then what is his flask doing here? He said he just bought it this morning, so he must have been here today.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Where's your phone?
Well, you've got things wrong. I don't know anything about that flask.
Hey, the lights... Who switched off those lights? Sheila, put those lights on. Put on those lights. Oh, the lights. Get to the lights. That flask... gone.
Nero Wolf speaking.
Where's Sheila Michelson?
Sheila? Perhaps you might try the lost and found, Inspector.
I know she was over at your place.
I thought you were interested in Clay Michelson.
Well, I let him and Saunders go for the present. They're clean until I get the medical examiner's report.
Oh, when will it be ready, by the way?
Autopsy takes time, you know that. Where's the Michelson woman?
I believe she had a date with Archie. Why do you want her?
I'm sure it never dawned on you, Walt, but this cleaning woman that was killed was some dish. Maybe Mrs. Michelson was the jealous one.
Your thinking is beginning to bear an amazing resemblance to Archie's, Inspector.
Oh, so much.
Inspector. Yeah, you are.
Come on, Wolf, quit stalling. Where's Wheeler Michelson?
What? Oh, I really don't know, Inspector, but perhaps as a last resort, of course, you might try her home. Good night, Inspector. Inevitable. Moment I'm comfortable. Come in.
Mr. Wolf. Oh, thank heavens you're here.
I always am. Where's Mr. Goodman?
I don't understand how it happened. I swear I don't.
What happened?
I haven't got any idea how it got there.
Got where? Calm down, Mrs. Michelson. Now, just what got where?
Clay's new flask. Your assistant Archie. He came home with me, and that new initial flask was there. He thinks Clay was there this afternoon, and that I'm trying to frame him or something.
Oh, here you are.
She's here, therefore.
This is our gal, Mr. Wolf. She's been lying right down the line.
I tell you, Clay wasn't there.
Then why did you give me this clout on the head and grab the evidence and run?
I didn't hit you. I ran, but I didn't hit you. And I didn't take that flask either.
Oh, next thing she'll say there wasn't any flask.
Stop gaping at Mrs. Michelson, Archie, and open the door.
Yeah, sure.
Well, Mr. Wolf, then let Clay and me go for... Peter, what are you doing here?
After your visit this afternoon, Mr. Saunders, she decided to come down and see me.
After my visit? What makes you think I was a feeder?
It was Mr. Saunders, not your husband, who came to visit you this afternoon, wasn't it, Mrs. Michelson?
I don't have anything to do with Mr. Saunders.
And might I ask why you called him today?
I wasn't calling him. I was calling Clay.
You told me earlier yourself that you didn't know where Mr. Michelson was.
But all right. So what if it was Mr. Saunders who came this afternoon?
As he has for many afternoons.
What are you trying to get at, Mr. Wolf?
Saunders? He and Sheila?
Yes, Archie. Mr. Saunders, the artist's friend and agent, happens to be the one who was making a fool of the artist.
But that's all over. I told him. That's what I was talking to Mr. Saunders about this afternoon. I didn't want Clay to know. Clay would never have come back.
All right, so it was Sheila and me. I admit it, but that's not murder.
I suggest that it is, Mr. Saunders. I suggest that one of you two murdered the cleaning woman. Whichever one of you carelessly left the whiskey flask in Sheila's apartment.
This is murder, Mr. Wolf. Not a joke.
Not at all a joke. You see, our cleaning woman was not murdered by the knife found in her body. She was poisoned.
Poisoned? Not poison knife?
Poisoned. She undoubtedly drank from Michelson's flask while she was working in his room at the Garrison Club.
But she was stabbed.
True. However, Miss Lundgren was an alcoholic. Saunders mentioned that, and I checked with the club manager.
But how does that prove there was poison in the flask? That she was poisoned?
Archie, would you mind repeating your description of the dead Miss Lundgren? First, as to the wound.
Okay. There was no blood.
Someone advanced a fantastic theory about wiping the blood away. And now, Archie, the description of the body of Miss Lundgren.
I mentioned the fact that her eyes were wide open, the pupils were dilated. Hey, dilated pupils?
Yes, Archie. The lack of blood had already made me wonder about the entire affair. When you added the dilated pupils...
What's special about dilated pupils?
In death, that is a common symptom of poison by a certain vegetable drug of considerable potency.
But what was the point of stabbing her?
The poison did the job. However, the killer later used the letter knife in an effort to deceive the police. However, he unhappily forgot that the dead don't bleed.
I think you're guessing, Mr. Wolf.
Am I?
All I can say is that I was at the pool in the early afternoon.
You're very certain you were at the club pool when the murder was committed, Mr. Saunders?
Certainly. From 1 until 3.
Excuse me, please. Wolf speaking.
Inspector Kramer. Medical examiner's report just came in this minute. And get a load of this with it. The dame didn't die of stabbing at all.
I know.
You know?
He died of drinking a fatal dose of poison known as deadly nightshade.
What? How do you know that?
Inspector, do they know what time she died?
Time? The medical examiner says 2:30.
Thank you, Inspector. Oh, incidentally, if you care to drop over here, you may pick up the murderer. Goodbye.
I heard him, Wolf. She died at 2:30. As I told you, I was in the pool at 2:30.
Which is exactly how you prove yourself a murderer, Mr. Saunders.
Oh, I proved myself...
Even the police didn't know what time she died. Until just now. And the body wasn't found until the evening. How did you know she died between 1 and 3?
I didn't know, but...
You probably were at the pool at the time. The maid drank the poisoned whiskey, and you put in the flask of your friend Clay Michelson.
I tell you, you're crazy.
You planned to get rid of Clay, who stood in the way of your marrying Sheila. When you came back to your room at 3 and found that the maid had drunk it instead, you stabbed her with Clay's letter opener to cover up the real cause of the murder and throw suspicion on Clay.
Oh, this is nonsense. Ridiculous.
And then, when you learned that the woman for whose love you were willing to commit murder was through with you, you took Michelson's new flask to Fela's home, confident that it would be found there.
Yes, and then he attacked me and stole that flask again in order to make it look like Fela had done it.
Exactly, Archie. Mr. Saunders, the chances are that your fingerprints will be found on that whiskey flask, and they'll be able to trace the poison to wherever you purchased it. The chances are...
Oh, no, you don't. Careful now, all of you.
Don't bore me, Saunders.
Oh, yeah? I'm leaving.
Yes, Mrs. Michelson, your husband has been there for some time.
Clay, are you all right?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Well done, Mr. Michelson. I think you proved that an artist's life may indeed be exciting.
I've been an awful fool, Mr. Wolf.
Mr. Michelson, you might remember for the future that unreasoning and unjustifiable jealousy sometimes creates the very conditions that it fears.
You're being very kind to me, Mr. Wolf.
How can we ever thank you?
By prompt remittance of your check on the receipt of my bill in the morning. Good day, Mr. and Mrs. Michelson.
Good day, Mr. Wolf.
Good day.
What's the matter, Archie? You look glum.
Yeah. I always have the lousiest luck.
Meaning?
A hectic case with 2 beautiful dames. Michelson gets one, the Undertaker gets the other, and what do I get? Hey, that reminds me. You got a fee. I get paid.
You have been listening to The New Adventures of Nero Wolf, starring Sidney Greenstreet. Tonight's transcribed story was written by Cheryl Hendricks and based on the famous characters created by Rex Stout. This is an Edwin Fadiman program, produced and directed by J. Donald Wilson. In the cast were Larry Dobkin as Archie Goodwin, and Betty Lou Gerson, Howard McNear, Dan O'Hurley, Vic Perrin, and Bill Johnstone. Next week at this same time, Nero Wolf and Archie will bring you The Case of the Beautiful Archer. Don Stanley speaking. Three chimes mean good times on NBC. There's fun and laughs with the chimes later this evening when Ed Gardner stars in Duffy's Tavern. As usual, Duffy won't be there, but Archie the manager will definitely be on hand to spread his whimsical advice where it'll do the most damage. Tomorrow night, there's action on NBC with Herbert Marshall starring as the Man Called X in another exciting battle against the forces of international intrigue. Next, Sam Spade. Later, William Bendix on NBC.
What's the matter? What is it? It's another case for Nick Carter, master detective. Yes, it's another case for that most famous of all manhunters, the detective whose ability at solving crime is unequaled in the history of detective fiction. Nick Carter, master detective. Today's curious adventure, the Slingshot Murder, or Nick Carter and the mystery of the broken window. In just a moment, we'll find out how Nick Carter solves the mystery of the Slingshot Murders. But first, here's something worth thinking about. A lovely home adds to the joy of living. And just as thousands of American homemakers have brought new beauty to their walls with Chemtone, the miracle wall finish, so are they learning that Linex self-polishing wax gives their floors a certainly new luster without tiresome rubbing. Easily wiped on, Linex self-polishing wax dries to a tough, elastic finish that resists wear amazingly because it contains so much genuine carnauba wax with no gum, shellac, or resin in it to chip or crumble. It resists water and dirt, too, so that soil is safely removed from the surface with a damp cloth or mild suds. And Linex self-polishing wax is the non-skid floor finish, resisting slip even when water is spilled on it. The underwriters' laboratories, whose seals on each bottle, have proved this. Ask for Linex self-polishing wax at your paint, hardware, or department store. Headquarters for all three great Linex home brighteners and Chemtone, the miracle wall finish that dries in 1 hour. And now for today's mysterious adventure with Nick Carter. Our story opens in Nick's office, where he and Patsy are having a good-natured argument. Good-natured, that is, until about now.
But, Nick, I don't think that's true. Take me, for example. Since I've been working with you, I've learned to observe things I never saw before.
Perhaps, Patsy. You've undoubtedly improved while you've been my assistant, but I still say that you really see very little that goes on around you, in spite of all my training.
Oh, Nick, anybody would think that I...
All right, Patsy, let's see. How many steps are there from the sidewalk up to the front door of your house?
Why, there are... Let me see, there
How
are...
high up the floor are the windows in your bedroom?
There are about 2. No, 1.5.
What color's the 2-cent stamp?
Red.
Good for you. Thought you were going to say chartreuse.
Nicholas Carter's office. Is Mr. Carter there? Oh, is that you, Penny? Sure. How are you, Miss Bowen? I'm fine, thanks. How are things with you? Pretty good. Can I talk to Nick? Of course, Penny. Here he is.
Hello, Penny. How's my special assistant this afternoon?
That's what I called you up about, Nick. I think there's going on down here. Could you come over?
Well, what is it, Penny? Trouble?
Gee, Nick, I don't know. But it looks bad to me.
Well, can't you tell me what it is?
Not on the phone, Nick. You know, you always told me to be careful what I said on the phone. Some of the gang might be listening in.
That's quite right, Penny. All right, I'll take a run over there. You at your newsstand?
Yeah. Park your car down the block away so they can't see it. I'll be waiting.
Okay, Penny, be down right away. So long.
What was it all about, Nick? Sounded very important.
Penny thought it was important, too. But he wouldn't say what it was. He's seen something and thinks I ought to know about it.
Oh, that's what you get for being his hero, Nick. He thinks you're just about the greatest guy in the world. His ambition in life is to be a great detective like you.
Yes, I know it. And ever since his old man died in my arms, I've started to have to sort of keep an eye on him. And he's smart, too. He never forgets things I've told him about how to see what goes on around him. Some people I know, not so very far from here, could profit by his example.
Okay, Mr. Carter, okay. Get in your car and be on your way. Leave me to a little peace and quiet here. You and your wisecrack.
Very well, Patsy. Since I'm not wanted here, I'll go call on Penny. I hope he's got something more exciting up his sleeve than I think he has.
Nick, I thought you were never coming.
Sorry, Penny, but you know how traffic is.
Sure, I know. Come around the back of the stand, Nick, so nobody will see us talking together.
Okay, Penny. Now, what's up?
You see across the street there? You see the bank?
Yes.
And you see the empty stores on each side of the bank?
Yes.
Well, a little while ago, a big black sedan pulled up and 2 guys got out and went into the vacant store on this side of the bank. Then 2 more guys got out and went into the empty store on the other side. Then the sedan drove away and left the 4 guys there.
That's odd. Any idea what might be going on?
Well, Nick, there are several factories around here, and today's the day the bank downtown sends the money to this bank for the payroll. Tomorrow, Saturday, you know.
I see what you mean, Penny. You think those men may be planning to hold up the bank when the money gets here, huh?
Yeah, gosh, Nick, don't it look like that to you?
Could be, Penny. Yes, does look suspicious. But, Penny, robbery's not in my line. This is a job for Lieutenant Riley in the city police. I'll give him a ring and tell him what you saw.
You'll have to hurry, Nick. It's almost 4 o'clock, and that's when the car comes to the minute.
Well, I'll phone Riley now. Maybe he can get one of the squad cars.
Here it comes up.
Yes, and I'm a car, all right. And it's stopping in front of the bank.
They're starting to unload the money, and they don't know that
Wait here. I warned them, Mandy. Go back, Penny. Keep out of the way. I'll see if I can help the guards by picking off some of the thugs with my gun.
Look out, Nick. Don't get yourself killed.
I won't. I'll stay behind this pole.
Look out, run, Nick.
I think so, but I'm...
Nick, are you good? Are you, Nick? You're good. Oh, Nick, something hit my leg, Nick. Nick, get in the way. Nick, we didn't stop him. But, Doc, I tell you there's nothing wrong with me, eh? Nothing except that you've lost about a quart of blood.
There's a nasty hole in the side of your neck. I can't stay here doing nothing. I've got to get up to those pugs. I've got to get out of here.
Just tell me, are you hurt, Daddy?
Oh, it's only a scratch, Patsy. But this Sawbones wants to keep me here cooped up like a pet rabbit.
How is he, Doctor?
He's got a bad hole in the side of his neck. Nothing fatal. He'll get over it, but he's lost a lot of blood, too. He's got to be quiet and good natured. Now, look, Doc, look. Nature's going to have a tough time doing anything for me if you keep me here worrying because I can't get out.
Yes, you're going to stay here and like it.
Good girl.
If you don't behave, I'll call some attendants and have them undress you. Then you'll have to stay here whether you like it or not.
But, Patsy, I tell you, there's not... Oh, that's Penny. What's you doing here?
I want to see Nick.
Here I am, Penny. I'm coming, son.
You get right back in that bed, Nick, Carter. If you don't...
Sorry, Patsy, but Penny wants me. Why, Penny, what happened to you?
Oh, nothing much, Nick. A bullet got me in the leg, that's all.
That's all. Well, that's enough. Are you hurt bad, son?
No, Doc says I'll be all right in a few days. But I got something to tell you, Nick.
What is it, son?
You know when I yelled at you just before you got shot?
Yes, I remember.
Well, I saw a guy standing in the window of a house across the street from the bank. Must have been a lookout or something. And just as I looked up, I saw him aim at you. So I yelled when he fired.
Did you get a good look at him, Penny?
No, but I know which window it was.
Good boy. Which one was it?
You'll see. I busted it with my slingshot so you know it. I put a marble right through it. And on the first shot, too. I thought maybe you'd find a clue there, if you look.
Penny, you're a wonder. I'm proud to have you for an assistant.
It was a window on the fourth floor of a brown house. You can't miss it.
Yes, sir, Penny, I'm proud to have you for an assistant.
Yes, are you going to get back to bed or do I...
I can't go back to bed, Patsy. I've got to go places. Things to do. Can't let Penny down, not after the way you fix things up for me.
Nick.
Yes, Penny?
Take this with you, Nick. It's as good as a gun sometimes. I use it a lot.
Why, well, thanks, Penny. That slingshot of yours may come in handy. I'll keep it right where I can get at it fast if I need it.
Oh, there you are, Nick. Oh, you're all right.
I certainly am all right. You got any other gang?
No, Nick, we didn't. We found the car they were in, wrecked 6 blocks away, but there was nobody in it. The car was stolen, too, so that's no help.
Did they get much?
Yep. 3 guys are killed, one in the hospital, and $100,000 in small bills is missing. That's all I know. Now you've got a lead in the world right now.
Well, I have, thanks to Penny here.
Penny? Who's Penny?
My assistant, and one of the best assistants a man's ever had. He just gave me some dope that may crack the whole case wide open.
What is it, man? Tell me quick.
Not yet, Rabbit. This is confidential between Penny and me.
Huh?
If it works out, I'll let you know. Well, Penny, so long. I'll be seeing you.
So long, Nick. Good luck. Nick Carter, where are you going now?
I'm hot on the trail, Patsy, and nothing can stop me.
Well, if I can't stop you, at least I'm going with you. You certainly can't drive a car in your condition.
Okay, then. Come on. Time for racing.
Look, don't you need some help, Nick? I'll send some of the boys with you.
No, Riley. This is a one-man job, and I'm the man who's going to try to do it. Patsy, I wish you hadn't come. There may be trouble.
You may just as well save your breath, Mr. Carter, because I'm going wherever you're going, and that's that. You can't drive in your condition.
I could if you'd let me.
Well, I'm not going to let you, so that's that.
I don't know what gets into you women. When you make up your minds, a team of horses couldn't change it.
You ready to tell me where you're going? I can't keep on driving blindly all around the city, Nick.
All right. I give up. I'm going back to the scene of the robbery.
What are you going to do there?
That, my nosy young friend, is strictly my business.
Okay. But I'd feel a lot safer if I knew what you were planning to do.
It's dark now. You can pull up just around the corner from the bank. I'll get out there. Then you go back to the office.
How will you get back?
Don't worry about me. I can take care of myself.
I hope so. Is this where you want to go?
Yes, drop me here. Now remember, you. Back to the office.
Okay, bully. But I don't like you going anywhere alone, as weak as you are.
It's skill that counts in this business, Patsy, not muscle. I'll get going. I've got work to do. So Nick is going alone to investigate the house where the killers were who shot him. Does he have any idea what dangers lie ahead of him? And will he find any clues to the killers? We'll see in just a moment. Have you been wishing for a furniture polish that will clean your furniture too? Linex Clean Polish, the modern protection for your furniture's beauty, saves one complete step by cleaning as it polishes, without tires and rubbing. Learn firsthand how much time and effort Linex Clean Polish saves. Linex Clean Polish removes that cloudy dust and polish accumulation in one quick, easy application that also does away with fingerprints and helps conceal ugly scratches. And Linex Clean Polish dries hard, leaving no oily film to attract additional dust, to make additional work. So try it and see how simple it can be to clean and polish your furniture at the same time. Ask your dealer for Linex, Lin-X. Linex Clean Polish. You'll find it at your paint, hardware, or department store, where all three great home brighteners and Chemtone, the Miracle Wall Finish, are featured. And now, back to our story. We left Nick, weak from loss of blood, climbing the stairs to the 4th floor of the old tenement house, trying to find some clue to the killers who shot him and robbed the bank. As we rejoin him, he's nearly reached the top.
I wish it wasn't the 4th floor. I don't feel as ambitious as I did. Well, that's the break. Only one apartment on the street side. Unless someone home, judging by the light under the door. Here goes.
Well, what do you want?
I'm investigating the bank holdup across the street this afternoon.
Bank holdup?
Yes. You knew the bank was held up, didn't you?
Yeah, I heard. I was out working at the time. What do you want to get in here for?
I want to look out of your windows. See, it's like this. We have a witness who says he saw the whole thing from the window next door on this level. He's a cranky old guy with a reputation for stretching the truth, so I want to check up on him. I'd like to look from your windows and see if he really could have seen what he said he did.
Sounds nutty to me. Why don't you look out of his windows?
I did, and I still can't be sure. So I want to check all the windows on this floor.
There ain't no use in... Well, okay, come on in.
Thanks. I won't be long. Mind if I put this window shade up?
Suit yourself.
Well, can't see much from here. I'll try the other window. Can't see anything from here either. Well, I guess the old guy was dreaming. Couldn't see the bank at all with an armored car standing in front of it.
You satisfied now?
So far, yes. Okay to look at the other room, too?
Yeah, I guess so. My wife's in there. I'll see if she's dressed.
Certainly no broken windows in this room. And none of them been repaired either.
Somebody coming in, Mary. You dressed? Okay, Chopper, you can go in.
Thanks. Sorry to bother you, lady. I won't be but a minute.
Okay, take your time.
No broken windows here either. Eddie must have made a mistake in the window.
How about it, Chopper?
I guess the old guy must have... Hey, do you have any children in the house?
Sure. No kids? What?
Oh, just saw a marble here on the floor and wondered. And they shot a marble through the window.
Well, come on. If you've seen all you want, you better...
Just a minute. I want to take another look at this window.
Get your hands up, Flatfoot. Make it snappy.
I don't see
Well, you don't, huh? You come up here looking for a broken window, didn't you? And when you didn't find them, you go around poking your fingers in the putty.
Well, really,
Don't
now...
try to kid me. I've been watching you. So you found the window with a soft putty where we put the new pane of glass in. Well, it won't do you no good now.
All right, Slug, I'll take over now. Why, Jake Garner. So you're Slug's wife?
Yeah.
I'd never have known you in that woman's outfit. Pretty clever.
A lot cleverer than you, copper. You come right up here just begging for it, didn't you? I thought we'd give it to you for keeps out in front of the bank this afternoon, but I'm glad now we didn't. This is going to be more fun. We can make it last longer. Burn him down. No, Slug. Shooting's too quick. I got a better plan for this dumb punk than that.
Go right ahead, gentlemen. Don't mind me. But do you mind if I put my arms down?
Get his gun, Slug. Sure, Jake. Quite a surprise to find us here, copper, ain't it? Never figured we'd hide out right here alongside the bank, did you? And dumb cops probably are searching all over the city, looking for where we went to. And all the time, we're right here. Hey, Jake. What? This guy's a regular arsenal. 3 guns he's got. I don't care how many he's got. Take them all away from him. Hey, Jake. Look at this. What? He's got 3 guns and a slingshot. Are you kidding? A cop carrying a slingshot around to keep the big bad robbers away. What a dumb mug he is. Oh, look now, Slug, don't take all the Flatfoot's weapons away. Where's your manners? Leave him keep the slingshot. Why, sure. Here, Mr. Dick, I'll put it right back in your pocket where it came from. Maybe you'll save your life with it. Big jump, Jake. Look what Santa Claus brought us to play with, Pete.
Well, I'll be a monkey's uncle. Where'd he blow in?
Walked right up the stairs all by himself. Look, Copper, did you ever have a lighted cigar butt jammed in your eye? That's just for a starter. Then we're going...
No, you're not. Jake, look out. Get him, Slug. Give me that gun, Jake. Give me that or I'll twist your arm off.
Oh. Get out of the way, Jake.
You're going to give it me.
Ah, nice work, Slug. You knocked him cold.
Oh, I'll fix him for this. He nearly broke my wrist. Shall I croak him now, Jake? No. Wait till we get ready to leave. Then we'll play games with him. Tie him up, but good. We'll get the stuff ready to move out when the boys bring the car tonight. Then we'll come back here and take care of him. Over on your face, Flatfoot. So I can get the ropes on you. Wouldn't he like to know that we got all that dough hidden in the empty warehouse right next door here? It's a little hole through the wall of the apartment here, and we got a foolproof hideout. Yeah. Yeah, if he was only smart like Jake, I'd be afraid of him. But nobody is smart as Jake. There, Copper. That takes care of you. Try and get out of them ropes. Hey, what'd you let the flatfoot in here for anyway, Buck? Don't be dumb, Pete. If I hadn't, he'd have smelled something funny and come back again with a wagon. Anyways, how'd I know he was wise to the busted crack? You know, Jake, maybe you ain't so smart at that. Yeah? What's eating you? Well, you thought it was so smart to double back here with the cash and hide out right across the street from the bank, and the first thing, a cop smells his way right up here. So what? Only one cop come to me, and he ain't walking out of here, is he? Well, no. Who's running this business anyway? You are, Jake. Okay. All right. Now, Pete, you and me are going back into the warehouse and fix up the stuff ready to leave. Shrug, you stay here with the copper. Clean up the joint good. Fingerprints and any kind of junk that might leave a tip. Don't leave nothing. We'll be back when we took care of the dough. Okay, Jake. I'll watch him. Oh. Fell into a rut this time. I should have had somebody standing by just in case. Whoever tied these ropes knew what he was doing. I'll never get out of these. Hands tied together. Elbows tied tight to my body. Oh, my head. Ooh. I wish I felt as happy as Slug sounds. Hey, there's blood in my hands. The bullet hole in my neck must have opened up. The blood's made my hands slippery. Yes, I think I can get my hands loose. There. But what good's that? My elbows tied up tight. Oh, if only I had some way to get word out. I get him up here. I can't shout. Slug would hear me and bump me off quick. Oh, if only I had a gun, I could. Ah, but Slug took them. Only I had it. I do have one weapon left. Pen slingshot. Slingshot. Yes, shoot something into the street through the window. Somebody might find it. Shoot something. What? Shoot what? My badge. My honorary police badge. Oh, only I can get it out of my pocket. Only I can reach it. Never have had much use for that badge, but I certainly need it now. No, I can't get in the pocket. Well, just tear it open. There. Got it. Now for the slingshot. The outside pocket. There we are. Now, if I can stretch my arms far enough apart to shoot this badge through the window, I can... What's that? Hey, Copper, what are you trying to... The guy's still out cold. He couldn't have done nothing. But somebody broke that window. Maybe the deck's only faking. Maybe he ain't really out. Let me take a look. Gosh. Here you go. Oh, what a break. He's out cold. I thought I wasn't coming close enough so I could grab his legs, but he did. Lady luck must be on my side today. Just luck his head hit in the radiator that way. Now, if I can wriggle over there and get his gun. Just a little more. Oh, Jake will be back any minute. I dumped into that gun before. There. Now if I can roll back under the bed before Jake gets here. So far, so good. Lady Luck, stay with me. Slug, what happened? Slug! Hey, look, Jake, the copper's gone. And Slug's out cold. I thought I told you guys to tie that flatfoot up so he couldn't move. We did, Jake. Yeah, it looks like you did. Come on, maybe we can catch him outside before he gets away. Yeah. Hey, Jake, look, the door's still locked here. He couldn't have got out this way. Oh, he didn't get out the way we come in? He must still be here. Look at him. Up with your hands, both of you. Well, you. He's got a gun. Get him up, I said. I'm not pulling. That's just a warning. I said I'm not pulling. Now drop your guns to the floor. Both of you. We better do it, Jake. He means business. You better do. Drop those guns fast. Okay, you win. For now. Drop the other one, Jake. I know you have two of them. Here. Take it. Good. Now, Pete, slowly and easily. Kick the guns over toward me. Okay. Now, stay where you are. I'll kick those guns over. That's better. Now what? Want us to untie you? No, I want you to stay right there. And I'll stay right here.
Wait a minute. It's all right, Jake. He can't last long now. All we got to do is wait here till he falls over. He's lost so much blood now he can't hardly sit up.
Sure. How long do you think you're going to hold out, Copper?
Long enough to see you three thugs in jail.
I bet that don't nobody know you're up here. So how do you expect to be rescued?
I sent a messenger out the window to tell my friends I'm here waiting for them.
Hey, look, Jake, the window is busted.
Tell me, this flatfoot will be out cold long before anybody comes up here. Unless it's the boys with a car come to take us out of here. You, think you can last that long, Copper?
Yeah, you'll never be able to hold that gun on us for another 2 hours. You might as well give up now, Copper.
Think so? I want to take you 3 mugs in so bad, I'll wait all night. I have to. Get back? I can see you. Don't you try any funny business with me.
He's almost gone, Jake. Another couple of minutes and he'll be out like a light.
As soon as he drops that gun, we'll rush him. I don't know how he lasted this long.
Stay right there. Stay there, both of you. I can wait. Just as long as...
Now, he's gone. Come on.
Oh, everything! You get your hands up, you guys!
Oh, hello, Patsy. Riley.
What's going on here, Nick?
These are the thugs that dug up the bank.
Oh.
Money's in the warehouse next door.
You're no wonder, Nick. Take care of these fellas, Sergeant. Send a couple of men to get the money out of the warehouse, like Nick says.
Oh, Nick, I've been so afraid for you. Did they hurt you?
Oh, I'm all right, Patsy. Just a little tired. That's all.
She's a great girl, that Patsy. When she left you, she phoned me and told me what you were trying to do, Nick. So I got some of the men together and came as quick as I could. And we got a flat tire, or we'd have been here sooner. And looky, here's your badge, Nick. Little bent, but as good as new.
Thanks, Riley. Lucky you found it.
It wasn't me that found it. It was Patsy herself here.
You found it, Patsy.
Yes, Nick. Then Riley spotted the broken window and we came up. But don't ever let me hear you say again that I'm not observant. Maybe I don't know how many steps there are in front of my house. But when it comes to things that count, I can see them.
In just a moment, Nick and Patsy will bring you a preview of next week's exciting case. How often you've had floors or woodwork surfaces ruined when hot grease, alcohol, fruit acid, perfume, or boiling water was spilled? Linex Clear Gloss, the modern protection for linoleum and all wood surfaces, resists all these liquids and at the same time keeps dirt on the surface where it's easily wiped away. And Linex Clear Gloss provides a really lasting protection for your floors and woodwork. A tough yet lustrous surface that wears and wears. Yet Linex Clear Gloss is easy to apply, for it flows on readily and evenly without brush marks, drying to a glossy finish that keeps its beauty a long, long time. That's why thousands of American homemakers depend upon this sparkling, transparent finish to keep their homes bright and shining. Get Linex Clear Gloss now at your nearest paint, hardware, or department store. If your dealer hasn't received his supply of the 3 great Linex home brighteners, he'll have them soon. Ask him to save one or all of them for you. Acme will see that he gets them, and you get them, as quickly as possible. Now let's hear from Nick Carter himself. How about next week's adventure, Nick? Got something exciting coming up?
I certainly have, Ken. If you take a transcontinental train stalled high in the mountains in a raging blizzard and mix it with the murder of an opera singer and her maid...
And add the theft of $150,000 worth of jewels from the said opera singer. And a snowslide down the mountain right where the train is stalled.
And you have the puzzle and crime that I was up against.
Sounds pretty complicated to me, Nick. How'd you find the solution?
Well, the solution depended on 2 things. A broken bottle of perfume and a chow dog that was lost in the snow.
You certainly make it sound attractive. Did it work out okay?
You should ask that, knowing Nick.
Sorry. What do you call the story?
I call it Murder on Mad Mountain.
Or the mystery of the opera singer's dog.
So long for now.
So long, everybody.
And so long to you, Nick and Patsy. We'll be looking forward to seeing you again next week. Next week at the same time, listen to another curious experience of Nick Carter, Master Detective, entitled
Murder on Mad Mountain. Or Nick Carter and the mystery of the opera singer's dog.
Nick Carter, Master Detective, is a copyright feature of Street and Smith Publications, Incorporated. It is presented at this same time and over these same stations by the 3 great Linex home brighteners. Linex Clear Gloss, Linex Cream Polish, and Linex Self-Polishing Wax. This is Mutual.
presenting Detective Nick Harris in A Salute to the Law. Ladies and gentlemen, we again bring you Detective Nicholas B. Harris, chief of the internationally known Los Angeles Detective Agency, bearing his name in another dramatized true-life story proving to the youth of today the folly of committing crime. Now, Mr. Harris.
Thank you, Mr. Lake, and good evening, everyone. Tonight I bring you the final chapter of the strange but true story of the Avenging Angel. Last week, a wealthy man under the assumed name of Mr. Collins called at my office. He explained that he wished to dedicate his life and fortune in helping others to avenge the wrongs perpetrated upon people who were unable, through financial reasons, to bring the wrongdoers to justice. It so happened that just that day I had received a mysterious phone call asking for help. On investigation, the call had been sent by a 10-year-old boy, Jimmy Newton, asking me to locate his father. His mother, Mrs. Newton, refused all information concerning the disappearance of her husband because she had been silenced by the men who were holding her. Mr. Collins and I then located this Jimmy at school. He told how his father had been working a mining claim and had been carried off by some men in a car with an Arizona license. Picked him up then at the school and took him in our car and took him to the Newton home. And as we approached that home, we saw a car shoot out of the driveway and turn the corner at great speed. We tried to follow. The car was lost in traffic. Returning to the house, we found the door locked. And looking through the window, we saw the body of a woman lying on the floor. Thinking that this was Mrs. Newton and that she had been murdered, I broke the glass in the front room window and entered. To our great surprise, Jimmy claimed that the woman lying on the floor was not his mother, that he had never seen her before. And just then, this strange woman regained consciousness. And we heard a noise in the next room. The door opened.
Mom!
What? Jimmy, is that your mother in the doorway?
Sure it is. But gee, Mom, what happened?
Never mind now, Jimmy. I'll tell you later.
So you're Jimmy's mother, Mrs. Newton.
Yes, and who are you?
He's Mr. Collins, Mom.
Yes, Mrs. Newton. Mr. Harris and I came to help you, if possible.
Jimmy, have you been talking?
Sure, Mom. They're going to help us.
But Jimmy didn't tell you.
First, Mrs. Newton, who is this woman in the Davenport?
Her name is Lee. Curley.
Why did she scream and faint when she saw you in the doorway?
She was scared, I guess.
Mr. Harris went to the drugstore, Mom, to phone for an ambulance.
I don't think she's seriously hurt, Mrs. Newton.
Oh, I'm glad. I thought I'd killed her.
Who's that in the other car, Mom?
What other car?
The one that threw out of our driveway just before we got here.
I don't know, Jimmy. I don't know anything about it.
But gee, Mom, didn't you see the car?
No, I didn't.
That's funny. Did she come in that car?
Jimmy, please. Mother doesn't want to talk about it.
Jimmy, will you go outside and see if Mr. Harris is coming back?
Sure, I'll go right now.
Please forgive me, Mrs. Newton, when I say I'm your friend and that I only want to help you.
Well, why should you?
Because, well, just to repay others who helped me when I needed a friend.
And it sounds mighty queer to me, but maybe you are on the level. All right. Only I don't know anything you can do.
Well, Mr. Harris and I are going to help you find your husband. But you must help, too, Mrs. Newton, by telling us everything that's happened.
All right. All right, I'll tell you.
What about this other woman, Cora Lee? Who beat her up?
I did.
You?
Yes, I did. I meant to kill her.
But why, Mrs. Newton? Why did you want to kill her?
Well, when she told me about Jim. Oh, then everything just went black and... Oh, look, she's coming, too.
That's right.
Listen, I'll go out in the kitchen until you get her away.
Maybe that's best.
Oh.
Now, take it easy. Take it easy.
Oh, where is she? Don't let her hit me again,
Mrs. Newton is gone. There's nothing to be afraid of now, Miss
Oh, where's Emile? Where's Philippe?
Emile? Philippe?
Yes, Emile, Ryder, and Philippe Ortiz. Where are they?
Men who brought you here?
Yeah, sure, they brought me here. They were going to take me back to Jim. They haven't gone, have they?
Yes, I'm afraid they have.
Why, the dirty rats. Say, who are you? I never saw you before. How did you know my name?
Collins is my name. I was sent out on this case.
What do you mean, sent out on this case? Who sent you?
Mr. Harris is back, Mr. Collins. The ambulance is coming, too.
Ambulance?
For you, Miss Lee, to take you to the hospital.
I don't want to go to any hospital. Please, Miss Lee, don't mention that. No, not me. I'm not going to a hospital. I'll run away. Oh.
You see?
Oh.
Now, don't be foolish.
Oh.
You want to get well, don't you?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Then go to the hospital. There's nothing to be afraid of. You'll be treated with kindness and consideration, I promise you that.
Yeah, but I got no money to pay for a hospital.
That'll all be taken care of.
How do you know?
Never mind now. Just go to the hospital and get well. That's all you have to think about.
Well, if that wasn't Jimmy's mother, who was it, Colin?
Her name's Lee, Curley.
Miss or Mrs.?
Miss, I think. Just after you left, Jimmy's mother showed up.
Yeah, go on.
Yes, and it was Jimmy's mother, Mrs. Newton, who beat up Miss Lee.
Did she give any reason for it?
No, but she promised to tell me everything. Look, Harris, would you have time to take Jimmy with you and bring him back later? I think Jimmy's mother will talk more freely to me if Jimmy isn't around.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. So I'll do that. Hey, Jimmy.
Men kidnapped your husband.
Well, I don't know for sure whether Jim went with them willingly or was forced to go. But after Jim was in the car, one of the men
Which
said
one?
to me, the one with the German accent. He called me to the back door and threatened me.
Threatened you?
Well, he said if I tried to reach my husband or told anyone about his being gone, well, they'd grab Jimmy and I'd never see him again.
Had you known these men before, Mrs. Newton?
Yes, I saw them once when they were both working for my husband on his claim near Mojave. That was over a year ago.
Your husband still had faith in this claim.
Oh, yes, Mr. Collins.
Do you suppose this German and Mexican were scheming to get your husband's claim away from him?
Well, maybe they were. I don't know. Still, I couldn't figure out why Jim would go away and stay away without even letting us hear from him until the two men came here again today with that woman who calls herself Curley.
Well, what happened then?
Well, I let them in, and I asked about Jim, and the German Riker answered.
Your husband is good at help, Frau Newton?
Si, senora. Only he don't want he should see you no more.
Jim doesn't want to see me? What do you mean?
For you, senora, he is what you say, washed up.
What? Oh, he couldn't be.
Oh, no? Well, Jim told me differently.
Well, who are you?
This is Fräulein. I mean, Miss Lee, Frau Newton. Miss Cora Lee.
Jim told you. Jim talked to you about me.
Oh, sure, plenty. But I wanted to see for myself. Main thing I came for, though, is Jim's things.
Jim's things?
Yeah, you know, his personal belongings. Said they were all in one closet. Did you bring in those suitcases, boys?
Yeah, they're in the car. Come on, Philippe, and help me get them.
So you've stolen my Jim away from me.
I wouldn't say stolen, sister. You lost Jim before I ever laid eyes on him. I'm sorry for you, but how a little shrimp like you could expect to hold a he-man like Jim Newton is more than I can say.
Well, you'll see. Little shrimp am I. You'll see. You'll find out.
Put down that poker. Oh, please, don't hit me. Oh,
I'll tell you. I'll beat your brains out. I'll beat you up.
Bucket!
Miserable little...
There is she.
Santa Maria, what has happened?
There's Cora.
They're in the corner on the floor.
Ach, Gott in Himmel. Cora's dead. You've killed her.
Oh, I hope so.
Come on, Otis. We're getting out of here.
Oh, what got into me? What did I do that for? Oh, even if she did take Jim away from me. Oh, how can I do a thing like that? Why, it's murder, I tell you. It's murder. Well, that's how it was, Mr. Collins. I guess I was crazy for those few minutes.
Will you go with me tomorrow to the hospital and see Curley?
Yes. Yes, I'll go with you, Mr. Collins.
Well, good afternoon, Miss Lee.
Oh, good afternoon, Mr. Collins. I'm sure glad you brought Mrs. Newton.
Hello, Mom.
Jimmy! Well, I thought you were at school. What are you doing here?
Mr. Collins brought me, Mom. He said Mr. Lee wanted to see me. He bought me these flowers, too, to bring to her. Look, Mom.
Aren't they lovely? They're the nicest flowers I've ever had from anybody. Jimmy and I've been having a nice visit, haven't we, Jimmy?
Swell.
Now, look, Jimmy, we'll have lots more visits. But would you wait outside now while I talk with your mother and Mr. Collins?
Sure, Miss Lee.
Now, look, Mrs. Newton. Please let's not say anything about what happened yesterday. I had it coming, but it wasn't all my fault. They lied to me, Riker and Ortiz, about how things were between you and your husband, and I never knew anything about Jimmy.
You'd better tell Mrs. Newton the whole story.
I want to. Well, I did like Jim. I was crazy about him, but he never gave me a tumble. So Riker suggested that if you send his things out to him with word that you were through, well, I mean, if we brought them and told Jim that, why, then maybe I'd have a chance. But I know now that I never would have had.
You've seen Jim these last 6 weeks.
Yeah, in that new Discovery camp 90 miles from the railroad, north of Kingman. I was running a boarding house there. That's how I met your husband and his partners, Riker and Ortiz.
But why didn't Jim write me?
Oh, but he did. But he trusted Riker to mail the letters. Instead, Riker burnt them. I never realized until yesterday what
Riker intended doing, and last night after the doctor attended me, why, I got to thinking about the risks Jim was running being mixed up with those two men. And I knew he had an offer to sell out his interest in the mine, and so Mr. Collins helped me send a wire to Jim advising him to take the offer and get back here as soon as he could. We sent it in care of the sheriff, and so we knew it'll reach him. Why, Mr. Harris fixed that.
Oh, thank you. Can you ever forgive me?
Now listen, Mrs. Newton. I'm the one that needs forgiving. But if it's all right with you, let's just forget the whole thing and pretend it never happened. Now, can't we do that?
Of course, if you're willing to.
Mom, Dad's here.
Your father? Oh, he's here?
Yeah. Can I bring him in, Miss Lee? Can I?
Sure, Jimmy. Bring him in.
Oh, Jim.
Honey. Gosh, I'm sure glad to see you and Jim again.
Oh, Jim, darling.
Now.
I'm so glad to see you.
You'll have to kind of excuse my wife, folks. She cries easy, always has, and we haven't seen each other for quite a while. But, Cora, what happened to you? What put you in the hospital?
Oh, a little accident, Jim. Nothing serious. I'll be back tossing flapjacks within 10 days at the latest, the doctor says. Did you get my wire?
Yes, and I got the money, too, for my interest. Thanks a lot. I guess you've met my wife.
Sure, we've met. But you haven't met Mr. Collins.
Well, I'm sure glad to meet you, Mr. Collins.
Well, I'm glad to meet you, Mr. Newton. You won't mind my having a mining engineer make a report on that claim of yours?
Mind? Say, that's what I've been trying to do for years. Only I've never had enough money to hire a good one.
Well, now look, I think Miss Lee has had enough company for one day.
Sure. Come on, everybody.
Goodbye, Cora. Thanks for everything. We'll see you tomorrow.
Goodbye, Mrs. Newton. Hey, Jimmy.
Yes, Miss Lee.
Would you do me a favor?
Sure, Miss Lee.
Stay and talk to me for a while. You know, Jimmy, your parents haven't seen each other for quite some time, and they might like to, well, kind of get acquainted.
Why, I'd love to.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, ends the story that I have entitled The Avenging Angel Strikes Again.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Ladies and gentlemen, you have just heard the concluding chapter of a true-to-life story brought to you by Detective Nicholas B. Harris, internationally famous Los Angeles criminologist and chief of the detective agency bearing his name. Although this was a true story, fictitious names and places have been used throughout this narrative. The story was dramatized for radio presentation by Ralph Burchard and as a Carol and Cairo production. Those participating in the radio drama were Dorothy Wade, C. Andre Fox, Bob Polton, Carolyn Cairo, Calvin Ellison, and Charles E. Bender. And now may we call your attention to a new series of crime prevention programs featuring Detective Harris entitled How Detectives Work. This new series is heard each Sunday afternoon over this same station at 12:30 p.m. All the scientific methods used in modern-day crime prevention are explained by Mr. Harris. Remember the time, 12:30. The station, KECA, and the program, How Detectives Work, featuring Detective Nicholas B. Harris. Next Tuesday, the Nick Harris program will be heard at its regular time, 8:15. Remember, next Tuesday night at 8:15, another Salute to the Law, presented by Detective Nicholas B. Harris.
Bushy Branson, from the lead plane in the formation of trainers, could have projected his voice for a good mile and a half without the competition of some 1,200 horsepower in the vicinity. But as it was, his thoughtless bellowing in the direction of the lagging plane was a sheer waste of effort. The little brown man merely beamed and continued to fly his own private formation some 500 feet to the rear. It wasn't stubbornness on the part of the swarthy little fellow. He just didn't understand. At least, that was what the commandant had told Bushy when the instructor had complained the first time. The little man was a major from the Philippine Constabulary, and the commandant had been ordered to teach him to fly. Those were orders, and whether Bushy liked it or not, he was going to teach him to fly. Bushy had stomped out of the office that day, muttering pure treason against the major, the commandant, and the Army in general. That was just after the little brown major had tried to start an engine while Bushy was leaning on the propeller. An incident from which the instructor had escaped intact only because the major, running true to form, had failed to locate the ignition switch. Bushy had sworn after leaving the commandant's office like that day that the little brown major was going to make just one more mistake. Just one. Then, well, there'd be real trouble. Now, somewhere out over the level brown land of Texas, Bushy was trying to get the major to fly with the rest of the formation and doing a very bad job of it. The instructor could see the little man riding way back and smiling and nodding, very friendly, but apparently missing entirely the murderous looks and equally murderous gestures of his leader. Finally, Bushy, in desperation, made a series of long, sweeping movements with his arm, and the little brown major understood. He opened the throttle wide and headed directly for the instructor's plane. His leader wanted him to come in a little closer, and he was following instructions to the letter. Bushy sighed with relief as he saw the ship come forward. He was just about to turn his attention to other matters when he realized that the major, instead of pulling up in his rightful position, was coming right on. Bushy waved again, waved wildly as the major's plane drew closer. "Get back! Get back, you crazy loon!" He cut his yell short and slammed his own throttle open just in time to pull the tail of the ship away from the major's oncoming propeller. "Get away! Get back!" Bushy had the throttle wide open, and his ship was streaking across Texas in a flat dive that was sending the airspeed up past 180. He was fighting for his life now. The major was right behind him, smiling, contented in his newfound ability to fly a close formation such as this. Bushy was seen to disappear in the direction of the Gulf of Mexico with the major right behind him. That afternoon, the commandant had a caller. An orderly stepped into his office. "Lieutenant Prentice here, sir." The commandant looked up from his desk. "Send him in." The older man leaned back in his chair as Bushy strode through the door. He knew what was coming. Sit down, Brenton." Bushy paid no attention. His face was haggard. His hand trembled as he lighted a cigarette. "Sir, I've got a wife and family. I can't go on like this." Superior officer nodded. "Trouble with the major again?" Bushy's eyes widened with the memory of it. "Trouble? You know that guy just chased me halfway to Corpus Christi? I can't stand it, I tell you. I'm sorry, I got a wife and a family to think about." The commandant made a valiant effort to appear solemn. "Well, you understand, Lieutenant Brenton, there's nothing I can do. My hands are tied. I've been ordered to put Major Chavez through the school, and those orders must be carried out. Now, what seems to be the trouble with the major?" Bushy breathed deeply and snuffed out his cigarette. "The trouble, sir, is that on 2 occasions now he's tried to kill me." "Well, not intentionally, Brenton." "No, perhaps not intentionally, but, well, that doesn't make death any more pleasant. What I came to say, sir, is that, well, I want to be transferred to the West Coast, sir." The commandant idly shuffled the papers on his desk for a moment. You want to be transferred so you won't have to fly with the majors, ain't it?" Bushy stood up. "Yes, sir. Yes, sir, that's it. I love my wife, and I don't want to make her a widow on account of that." Bushy caught himself. The commandant opened a drawer, took out a folder. He turned the leaves and reached for a pen. "You won't have to go to the West Coast, Brenton." Bushy smiled a broad smile of relief. The other officer continued. "Just fly with the major for another 2 weeks. If at that time you're still convinced the man will never be a competent pilot, I'll send a recommendation to Washington that his training be discontinued. That's all, Brenton." Bushy opened his mouth to speak, but the commandant repeated, "That's all, Brenton." That was the last straw. As he paced down the walk from the executive's office, Bushy resolved that if he flew with Major during those 2 weeks, that diminutive little brown visitor from the Philippines would get such a thorough overdose of the unhappier phases of flying that he'd never again set foot in an airplane. The lanky instructor was almost smiling at the thought. He'd been an aerobatics instructor at one time, and what he wouldn't do to that little tan man would be nobody's business. His spirits had risen considerably after that decision, and he was whistling quite gaily as he rounded the corner of a hangar and headed for the machine shop. He was mentally putting the major through a particularly hair-raising maneuver when he stopped short. Standing in the shade of the testing shed was the Major himself, complete with campaign hat, khakis, and ancient puttees. Arms folded, chin held high, he watched carefully the planes taking off and landing on the runway to the west. Bushy rubbed his chin and considered the possibilities of the moment. Deciding that there was no time like the present, he approached the Major. "Well, Major Chavez, nice day, isn't it?" The Major turned quickly and smiled when he saw Bushy.
"Ah, Lieutenant Brenton.
"It is a pleasant day, yes, indeed." He pointed out on the field.
"The boys are making very good landings today. Much better than yesterday, no?"
Bushy was looking down the line when the Major finished speaking.
"Huh? Oh, yeah, much better than yesterday."
He apparently saw what he was looking for now he turned to the Major.
Major Chavez, would you like to join me in a flight? I see my plane is out on the line."
The little man brightened at once.
"I should like to go, senor. Lieutenant Brenton. Shall we go?"
They went. An hour later, they returned, and Bushy had turned his bag of tricks upside down. He had to give his head a few vigorous shakes before he could get himself out of the cockpit. The little Major had to be carried to the hangar. Bushy felt a touch of remorse as he held a glass of water to the lips of his badly shaken passenger.
"Gee, I'm sorry, Major. I guess I poured it on a little too hard, huh?"
The little fellow sat up and took a few deep breaths. He looked at Bushy.
"You have your revenge now, Lieutenant, no?"
Bushy straightened, caught completely off guard.
You have had a great hate for me since I've come here. Have you not, Lieutenant?"
There was nothing to say. Bushy felt like a little boy caught in the wrong. The Major continued.
"Just now I knew why you wanted me to fly with you. I could see it in your eyes. You're seeking revenge, huh? I could not deny you that which I knew you so much desired."
With that, he arose and walked out of the hangar. Bushy was left standing alone. He'd been thoroughly and painfully whipped. The next day and the next, the Major avoided his instructor. He was flying alone. And Bushy felt now that the tables had been turned. He was the one to be hated, and it was very uncomfortable. He was standing on the line the third morning when the little Major took off. Attached to the wingtips of his plane were long white streamers, a warning to other pilots, the bell on the cat. Apparently, the commandant had ordered this precaution taken after Bushy's last complaint. The instructor felt another pang of guilt. He started for the commandant's office, sensing trouble just before he got there. He'd felt that something was coming ever since the afternoon when the little Major had been carried from his plane. But he went on into the commandant's office.
"Well, hello, Brenton. I have some orders here for you. You'll take 2 planes, 2 men of your choice, and leave as soon as possible. You're to help survey the fire area to the north. I'll radio further orders later. That's all, Lieutenant."
Fire survey? Bushy could think of things he'd rather do. An hour later, 3 planes were ready on the line. Equipment was loaded, and Bushy and 2 fellow instructors prepared to take off. Bushy glanced about the field and in the sky overhead. The Major was nowhere about. He wished that he might see the little fellow before he left, but... well, what was the difference? He released the brakes, and the 3 planes wheeled onto the runway and took off. Over the fire area, the planes separated, Bushy taking the southern front, while the other 2 went east and west to patrol the flanks of the fire line. What a place for a forced landing. Bushy had thought of that as he circled high over the line of flaming timber. But he wasn't thinking of it the moment his motor sputtered, picked up, sputtered again, and died. He nosed down and searched quickly for an open spot in the trees. He'd noticed one just a moment ago. Where was it now? Oh, yes, it was behind the next ridge. It was going to be close. He pulled the nose up. The ship was mushing dangerously. He had to clear the ridge. He held his breath as his landing gear brushed the tops of the pines. There was the clearing right ahead. He swung to the right, dropped into a steep slip. He was going to make it. Suddenly, he swerved, jammed the rudder hard over. A tall pine loomed out of the shadow directly ahead. The left wing caught, whirled the ship around. When Bushy came to, he was lying in a tangled mass of wreckage. His hands were bleeding. There was a taste of blood and metal in his mouth. He could move one leg. The other was useless, broken below the knee, his foot crushed. At least he was alive. He crawled into the clear as best he could. It was then that he looked up at the top of the ridge. The red glow of the fire line beyond showed clearly above the tops of the trees. Bushy realized that here he lay in a death trap, directly in the path of the fire. He was crawling back to the ship now when one of the planes circled over. In a few minutes, the other one came low, made a cautious try at the clearing, failed, went back up. The other tried, narrowly missed a crash in the tall pines. The plane circled, minutes passed, and 4 more arrived. Time after time they attempted to land in the tiny clearing. It was impossible. Bushy tried to wave them off. There wasn't a chance. No use of piling up another one in here. The fire was coming up the ridge in the heat, and the ashes were beginning to sweep down the slope. Bushy could feel it like a sudden hot breath from above. The planes circling like buzzards overhead were being forced back. Bushy watched them, his friends, so close yet powerless to help him. He was edging close to the plane now to keep away from the heat when a new sound, the roar of another motor, echoed in the canyon. Leaning back from his shelter, he saw the plane, not spiraling down from above, but flying directly up the canyon. From the wingtips whipped 2 white streamers. Bushy struggled to get out where he might be seen. He waved wildly. "Get away! Don't try it! Don't come in here!" The plane thundered overhead, the wheels barely skimming the low trees at the side of the clearing. Bushy shut his eyes. He couldn't look. But there was no crash. The ship pulled up sharply at the end of the canyon, pivoted slowly on one wing, and slipped smoothly into the clearing. "What's the matter with you, man?" Bushy was dragging himself toward the plane as the major jumped out. "You'll never get out of here. You're crazy. You've always been crazy, and now you'll die here, too, just like me." Bushy was lapsing into hysteria as the little major half dragged, half carried him to the ship and tumbled him into the rear cockpit. In a moment, the ship was heading down the clearing. A week later, Bushy came back to the field. From his wheelchair, he watched the flying, and one plane in particular. The streamers were gone. Bushy turned to the officers beside him. "Boys, salute the major."
Now, the new drama, Nona from Nowhere. The makers of Babbo present the new radio drama, Nona from Nowhere. The story of an adopted daughter whose kindly foster father has asked a famous Hollywood producer to redeem a promise given when his life was saved by making the amazing request that the producer marry a girl he has never seen before. His adopted daughter, Nona Brady, Nona from Nowhere. Listen, ladies, listen. It's the cleaning news of the century.
Your way to clean pots and pans, bathroom and kitchen fixtures faster than you ever thought possible.
It's with new improved Babbo for 1950.
New faster than ever Babbo, now with revolutionary detergent action that rinses dirt away.
You know about the new detergents, how they give whiter, cleaner washes, save time and work. Well, the amazing detergent action now in new improved Babbo does the exact same thing for pots and pans, bathtubs and refrigerators.
It rinses dirt away with lightning speed.
You save more precious time than even Babbo could save before.
And it's no wonder. For new 1950 Babbo now works 2 ways. First, dissolves grease. Melts away grease that causes 90% of your hard scouring.
Second, the modern detergent action now in new improved Babbo penetrates dirt, loosens it, rinses it away.
Results are simply amazing. Surfaces come thoroughly clean, gleam and sparkle. There's no hard work. And you're through faster than you ever thought possible.
Try new Babbo for pots and pans, bathroom and kitchen fixtures. Ask your grocer for new improved B-A-B-O, Babbo, now with revolutionary detergent action. And now the curtain rises on Nona from Nowhere. 23-year-old Nona Brady is deeply resolved to turn away from her love for fascinating Vernon Dutel, the brilliant Hollywood director, for Nona believes that Vernon has only pretended to be in love with her because of his friendship with her foster father, Pat Brady. But Vernon's love for Nona has become the most important thing in his life, and he violently resents the interest that Emery Monaco, a rival producer at Palladium Films, has shown in her. It's now late afternoon on the set at Palladium Films, and the star, Thelma Powell, calls angrily.
Nona? Nona, come here.
What is it, Thelma?
Come here.
Well, Vernon said to go on to the dressing room and get ready to go home. We're not going to rehearse the scene again today.
I suppose you're glad to go home now. After we wasted today, thanks to you.
That's not true, Thelma, and I won't let you blame me again. I did not cause all the delays today.
You certainly did. Here we are in the midst of one of the most costly productions of the year, and everything has to stop while Vernon gives you acting lessons.
I never claimed to know anything about acting. I didn't ask Vernon for the part in this picture. He gave me a screen test, and he wanted me to do the part.
Oh, I can't go on. I can't. My nerves won't stand it.
Thelma, it's been a long and difficult day for you. Why don't you wait until tomorrow to talk to me? Perhaps you can give me some suggestions.
I can't. I'm an artist. Oh, how can they make me suffer like this? Vernon, please come here.
I don't see him anywhere on the set, Thelma.
Oh.
That's the producer, Emery Monaco.
What's the trouble, Thelma? Shall I call your maid?
Thank you, no, Emery. I don't need my maid. But it's been a frightful, nerve-torturing day.
I'm extremely sorry to hear that, Thelma. Nona, I was looking for you. I came on the set to find you.
Vernon said we finished work for the day, Mr. Monaco. I was on my way to my dressing room.
Wait. I must see you.
Oh, Vernon, darling, there you are.
Thelma, what in the world's delaying you and Nona? I told you we'd get back to that scene in the morning.
I'm so worried about it, I won't sleep tonight.
If you're so worried, Thelma, I'm sure Vernon can take time right now to explain all the subtle points.
I thought, Monaco, I said I'd go back to the scene in the morning.
You're directing the picture, Vernon, and a great deal of its success depends on Thelma. You talk to her and stop her from worrying, eh? Come on, Nona. I'll take you to your dressing room.
You'll do nothing of the kind.
What's that, Vernon?
I warned you this morning, Monaco, to stay off this set. You have no connection with this picture.
Isn't JML still president of Palladium Films? Why don't you find out what he told me at 3 o'clock, huh? Where do you think you're getting off trying to run the whole studio?
This must be dull to Nona and Thelma. Come along, Nona. I'll take you to the dressing room.
But, Vernon,
I'll see you later, Thelma. Come on, Nona, this way.
All right, Vernon.
I warn you, Dutel. Think over what I told you.
I shall, Monaco.
Vernon.
Yes, darling?
Don't, please.
Call you darling.
No, Vernon, I'm serious.
My adored one. My love.
What I'm trying to say is, I'm sorrier than I can possibly tell you that Thelma feels as she does about my being on the picture.
Don't let that disturb you.
But, Vernon, she's a famous star, and, well, I can imagine how she feels. After all, I wouldn't be in the picture if you weren't an old friend of Daddy Pat's.
Oh, nonsense. Your screen test was marvelous.
You directed me in it, and you helped me to be good in it. When I look back, Vernon, I keep remembering all Daddy Pat said to you about his wanting me out of that office.
Pat believed you had talent for acting, and you have. Make no mistake about it.
What?
I'll tell you in a second. Here's your dressing room.
Yes. Won't you come in?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You were saying something about my talent for acting.
Oh, yes, so I was. Well, it's understandable for Pat to think you escaped hard work when you left your office job. But what you've escaped, darling, is nothing to what you've come into.
Just exactly what do you mean?
You'll have to work about 16 hours a day. You'll be coached, you'll take dancing lessons, you'll study voice, you'll want to learn to talk to photographers, reporters, autograph seekers, and there'll be hundreds of other things.
No, I'm afraid I can't do it. It's all a mistake, Vernon. You have too much confidence in me.
Oh, no, I haven't, darling. Now, Nona, listen to me, please, for just 1 minute.
Vernon, darling.
Oh.
It's Thelma Powell.
Yes, I know, but...
Vernon, I have to see you now about that scene, or I won't be able to come to the studio tomorrow.
Thelma.
I'm ill with worry. Nothing about it is right. Vernon, we have to talk about it now, or I'll be prostrate with nerves by tomorrow.
Thelma, dear, you mustn't be so excited.
But you know what this picture means to me. I'm not casual about my work. No artist ever is. Oh, Vernon,
All right, Thelma. I'll go to your dressing room with you, and we'll go over the scene. Nona.
Yes?
The studio car will take you home.
Well, thank you, Vernon.
Do come on, Vernon.
I'm coming, Thelma. But nothing has happened to call for all this excitement and hysteria.
As Nona watches Vernon leave her dressing room with Thelma, she can't foresee the extraordinary circumstances under which she'll see him again. And now, 20 minutes later, Nona's sitting beside Vernon's bitter rival, Emery Monaco, in his car. And Monaco is saying...
Nona, it was typical of Vernon to want to send you home in the studio car while he stayed with Thelma.
I don't mind that, Mr. Monaco.
Luckily, I was there. I was waiting to drive you home.
It was awfully nice of you.
Don't say that in that charming voice of yours that can sound so polite and impersonal.
But it is nice of you, Mr. Monaco. I hope the apartment isn't out of your way.
Nona, are you angry with me?
Angry? Well, why should I be?
Well, Vernon claims to be such a devoted friend to you and your foster father, Pat Brady. But I don't like Vernon, and I say so. Would you rather that I were a hypocrite?
Mr. Monaco, I don't think anyone should be a hypocrite. People in the same work can't always agree. You and Vernon have been at the studio together for a good many years.
Nona, I believe in destiny. Just as some men are meant to be friends, others are destined to be enemies. And I think death is the referee.
That's the strangest thing I've ever heard.
Vernon hates me, and the hatred grew first within him. Oh, I'm frank to say I don't like his ideas or his arrogance.
What did you mean when you said death is the referee?
You sound quite disturbed. Are you afraid of great words like death and life and love?
Mr. Monaco, you did sound as if you thought it was a kind of duel to the death between you and Vernon. But I understand now you were just using a figure of speech.
Perhaps, in a sense. Though I have a very unusual philosophy of life. I'll tell you about it if you'll dine with me tonight.
Oh, well, thank you, but Daddy Pat expects me at home.
Oh, you don't have to sit at home with your foster father every night, do you?
Oh, no. Daddy Pat wants me to have lots of friends.
I'd like for you to see the Green Shack.
I've heard that name.
It's one of the well-known Hollywood places.
I've heard of it. Isn't it sort of an informal nightclub?
Yes, that's what it is. We could have an early dinner there. I promise you'll enjoy it. It's different from anything you've ever seen. Oh, please, Nona.
Well, I would like to see the Green Shack, Mr. Monaco, but I better talk it over with Daddy Pat.
Fine, we'll leave it like that. I don't believe he'll object. Do you?
Well, Vernon.
Yes, Pat. I hope it's all right that I didn't phone first before driving out here.
Oh, sure. Come right on in.
Thanks. Is Nona here?
Oh, I'm sorry to say she's not.
She's not?
No, she got home from the studio, but she went back out again about 15 minutes ago.
Oh.
She went out to have dinner with Emery Monaco.
With Monaco? Did he telephone her?
Oh, he brought her home from the studio in his car.
The devil he did. Where are they?
Well, Vernon, I'm thinking there's a restaurant called the Green Shack.
The Green Shack? Pat, he isn't taking Nona there.
But why?
No, he wouldn't dare take her to a place like that.
Well, there's something wrong with it? You mean it's not a nice place?
You keep calm, Pat.
Now, Vernon.
The Green Shack is just a noisy place and a bit on the notorious side.
That man must be mad to take Nona to a place like that.
He is. But don't you worry, Pat.
Vernon, don't be telling me not to worry.
I'll take care of it, Pat. I won't let her go there with Monaco. I'm going to drive after them right now and bring Nona home.
Fateful words. Will Nona appreciate Vernon's interfering? Desperate forces are set in motion that lead to sudden death. But Vernon and Pat are thinking only of their love for Nona. Vernon doesn't foresee the strange and dark challenge just ahead that threatens Nona from nowhere. Give it one try, ladies, and you'll say it's better than ever. New, improved 1950 Babbo, now with revolutionary detergent action. New Babbo cleans faster than you ever thought possible. Surfaces sparkle brighter, too, because new, improved Babbo now works two ways. One, new Babbo dissolves grease that causes 90% of your daily scouring. 2, new Babo's revolutionary detergent action penetrates dirt, loosens it, rinses it away. It's sheer cleaning magic. Try it. Today, get new improved 1950 Babo, now with amazing detergent action. Ladies, you'll never touch a dish towel again once you discover that other Babo product. It's Glim, the wonderful concentrated liquid that cuts dishwashing time in half. Makes dishes and glasses sparkle without wiping. With Glim, you wash dishes faster and easier than ever before. For here's truly greaseless dishwashing. No grease film on the water, no grease left on dishes, no grease ring around the sink or dishpan. You simply take the cap off the Glim bottle, fill it, then pour the liquid into empty sink or dishpan. Turn water on full force and wash your dishes in instant suds. Then rinse and rack. That's all. Dishes, glasses dry sparkling bright without wiping. It's faster, easier. And Glim saves you money over soaps or powders. It's concentrated. You use so little a single bottle gives you 50 dishwashings. What's more, Glim is as kind to hands as beauty soap. Try it. Today at your grocer's, get the bottle with the bright red label that says Glim, Glim. This is Ford Bond speaking and asking you to join us on this station at the same time tomorrow when the amazing new story of Nona from Nowhere will again be brought to you by Babo, the grease-dissolving cleaner, and by Glim, the amazing liquid that gives you greaseless dishwashing.
This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Now, the new drama, Nona from Nowhere. The makers of Babo present the new radio drama, Nona from Nowhere. The story of an adopted daughter whose kindly foster father has asked a famous Hollywood producer to redeem a promise given when his life was saved by making the amazing request that the producer marry a girl he has never seen before. His adopted daughter, Nona Brady, Nona from Nowhere. Ladies, if you'd like to discover the fastest cleaning you've ever known, then this very day get new improved 1950 Babo.
New, faster than ever Babo, now with revolutionary detergent action that rinses dirt away.
Let me explain that. You've used the new detergents. You know they give whiter, cleaner washes faster, easier. Well, the new improved Babo now has an amazing detergent action that does the same thing for pots and pans, bathroom and kitchen fixtures.
It rinses dirt away. Saves more time than even Babo could save before.
For new improved Babo now works two ways.
One, as always, Babo quickly dissolves grease. Melts away grease that causes 90% of your hard scouring.
And two, the modern detergent action now in new Babo penetrates dirt and grime, loosens it, rinses it away.
These two actions combined give you cleaning magic.
The fastest, easiest cleaning you've ever known.
See for yourself. Try new improved Babo for your pots and pans, aluminum ware, bathroom and kitchen fixtures. See how you whisk through your work, how you save more time than ever.
Today, get the famous green can with the big white letters B-A-B-O, new improved Babo, now with amazing detergent action. And now the curtain rises on Nona from Nowhere. Profoundly attracted to Vernon Dutel, the Hollywood director, Nona's afraid that Vernon will never sincerely love her. In spite of all his vehement protests, she's built an invisible but unsurmountable barrier between them, actually to protect herself from her own desperate love for him. So tonight, Nona agreed to have dinner with Emery Monaco, who's a rival producer of Vernon's at Palladium Films and is also Vernon's bitterest enemy. And at this moment, in the Brady's small apartment, Nona's foster father, Pat Brady, is saying,
Vernon, be telling me now exactly what you mean about this restaurant, the Green Shack, where that producer fella, Emery Monaco, is taking my Nona.
Pat, please, now, just keep calm. I'll take care of it.
But Vernon...
I know all about Emery Monaco. I'd heard all about him long before I went to Palladium Films. He likes Nona because she's a beautiful girl.
What are you saying?
But taking Nona to dinner tonight is also aimed at me.
Oh, how did it happen? My Nona was out of the studio all day, beginning her work on your fine new picture and... Vernon, that fella Monaco don't have any say about your picture.
Pat, this is no time for me to try to explain studio politics to you.
Oh, I'm not caring anything about that sort of thing, Vernon. I know you despise this fella, and Nona's out with him.
Now, Pat...
Well, that's all that really matters. Oh, my old fool that I am, it's my fault, too.
Why blame yourself?
Because it all goes back to me telling Nona that I went to you and asked you to marry her.
Pat, do you mean... You believe that Nona went out with Monaco tonight because you told her that you asked me to marry her?
Oh, Vernon, she's been in a terrible state of mind, and a lot of it is on account of you.
What do you mean, Pat? I've got to know.
Well...
Nona doesn't want me to think she cares for me. Is that it? Well, judging by the way she acts and the things she does, I can't believe she does care.
Oh, but Vernon...
Why is she out with Monaco right now if she's in love with me? Can you answer that, Pat?
Sure. She may be out with him just because she does love you.
Pat, do you really think that? Because if you do, I'm going out to that place and bring Nona home. And I'm going to marry her in spite of her protests.
Oh, hold on now.
Well, you want me to marry her. She needs somebody to look after her. And I love her. Now, Pat, I love her so much that I...
Glory be now. Who's that? Excuse me.
Yes, of course.
Mr. Brady.
Why, Miss Powell.
Is Vernon Dutel here?
Yes, he is.
Thelma, what's happened? What are you doing here?
Vernon, darling, I couldn't go home from the studio. I'm frightened of that scene that went so badly today. I had to see you again.
We talked about the scene at the studio. There's nothing to be so disturbed about.
Nothing to be so disturbed about. Vernon, I'm not only the greatest actress in Hollywood, I'm an artist. Oh, darling, darling, come with me. I need you so.
But, Thelma... Pat...
Vernon, what's the address of that restaurant where Nona is?
Oh, never mind about that. You stay here, Pat. I'll bring Nona home.
Vernon, you're coming with me now.
I'll go with you to your car. And listen, Pat.
What are you going to do?
I'll find Nona and telephone you.
Well...
Wait here at the apartment.
All right. Whatever you say. Goodbye, Miss Powell.
Goodbye, Mr. Brady.
All right now, Thelma. We'll go out to your car.
You'll come home with me, and we'll dine together.
It's impossible.
Why won't you come? What's the trouble? Why was Mr. Brady so upset?
Nona is on her way out to the Green Shack with Emery Monaco.
Is she?
Yes. You know what kind of a place the Green Shack is. I could wring Monaco's neck.
Oh, why, darling. It isn't so terrible. There's no reason why Nona shouldn't go there with Emery. You're letting these Bradys impose on you till they absorb your life.
Thelma, I've tried to be patient. I know that you must be upset or you wouldn't have followed me here to Pat's. And if I were able to see you home, I would. But I have to stop Nona before she goes in the Green Shack restaurant with Monaco.
Sometime later, Nona's sitting beside Emery Monaco in his car. And in the last few minutes, she's had a growing feeling of uneasiness.
Nona, why'd you take your hand away from me? Now, you surely can't object to my holding your hand.
Mr. Monaco, just where is this restaurant, the Green Shack?
Oh, we're only a few miles from there. And didn't I ask you not to call me Mr. Monaco?
Yes, you did, but it's not easy for me to call you by your first name. I wouldn't feel comfortable.
You're 23 years old.
Yes.
A beautiful woman should be young. Aren't you glad you're beautiful, Nona?
Well, of course I'm glad if I'm nice looking. But my foster father has a very fine philosophy.
Oh?
Yes, Daddy Pat believes that we look like what we are. If we're selfish and cruel, it's written in our faces.
Are you saying that I'm cruel?
Oh, no, Mr. Monaco.
Well, I wasn't sure. Vernon Dutel has no doubt told you lies about me.
He's hardly said anything about you to me.
Well, my dear, you and I are going to know each other much better. I can do a great deal for you. I have tremendous influence at Palladium Films. So, what do you think of that, Nona?
Mr. Monaco, I advise you not to guess what I think about that. I don't care how much influence you have. I wish I were home. I was so foolish to come out with you. And I wouldn't have done it if I could forget for even a few minutes. But Daddy Pat went to Vernon and reminded him that he saved his life 20 years ago. And then he asked Vernon to repay him by marrying me. Oh, Vernon should hate me. Daddy Pat even told him about adopting me and promising my parents that he would never tell their names. Vernon could never love me. He has every right to hate me.
Nona, didn't you hear me? I asked a question. Why don't you answer?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Monaco. I must not have understood just what you meant. I didn't know this restaurant, the Green Shack, was so far out.
Oh, we'll soon be there. You see that intersecting highway ahead of us?
Yes.
Well, the Green Shack is just What the deuce?
Look at that cart coming across the road in front of us.
That's a fool driver stopping his car directly across the highway.
Oh, slow down, Mr. Monaco. Be careful.
That idiot. Does he want to cause an accident coming out of an intersecting highway like that and stopping his car directly in our way?
Stay where you are, Monaco. I'm coming over there and talk to you.
Vernon.
Vernon, do tell. I'll find out the meaning of this.
Just sit there in your car, Monaco. I'm opening the door on this side for Nona.
Vernon.
Get out of this car, Nona, quickly.
Yes, I will.
Do tell her. You out of your mind?
Monaco, I have a great deal to say to you. Come along, Nona.
She's not going with you, you lunatic.
Yes, I am, Mr. Monaco.
But, Nona, this is the most incredible thing I've ever heard of.
Vernon, how did you know where I was?
I'll explain everything, darling.
I told Mr. Monaco I'd have dinner with him.
You just get in my car and wait. I love you, Nona.
Oh.
Do tell.
I'm coming, Monaco. Nona, you wait here.
I will. I'll be here in the car.
Do tell. You must be a madman.
Wait over there. I'm coming back to you. All right. Now, Monaco.
Do tell I ought to kill you for pulling a scene like that before Nona Brady.
I'll kill you if you try another stunt like this.
The only reason I let Nona Brady leave my car was good breeding and to save her from a scene.
You know you had no business inviting Nona to go to dinner with you at the Green Shack. Her foster father is my best friend.
And just what does a foster father have to do with her going out with me?
I won't permit Nona to be let in for anything of this kind.
What do you mean? Hadn't you better put that statement into simpler words? Just what are you driving at?
You cheap, double-crossing wolf. You have a wife. You're a married man.
Well, so that's it. You object because I'm married. You don't think I should have the pleasure of beautiful Nona Brady's company because I have a wife.
Monaco, I warn you to stay away from Nona. You're asking for trouble. More than that, if you persist in trying to see her, you're begging for tragedy. And you'll get it.
Nona, waiting for Vernon, is suddenly aware of fear, like a hideous, invisible presence. And the strange and violent future is prophesied in this bitter quarrel between Monaco and Vernon, who is so deeply in love with Nona from nowhere. Ladies, don't wait. See for yourself how new improved 1950 Babbo, now with amazing detergent action, cleans faster than ever, saves more time, more work. And here's why. New improved Babbo now works two ways. First, Babbo dissolves grease that causes 90% of your daily scouring. Second, new Babbo's revolutionary detergent action penetrates dirt, loosens it, rinses it away. The combination gives you the fastest, most thorough cleaning in all the world. Try it. It's amazing. Today, get new improved 1950 Babbo, now with sensational detergent action. Ladies, if you'd like to finish tonight's dishes in less time with less work, then listen. Learn about the sensational Babbo product that cuts dishwashing time in half. It's Glim, G-L-I-M, the concentrated liquid that gives you greaseless dishwashing. And here's how Glim works. Unscrew the cap from the bottle, fill it, then pour into your empty sink or dishpan. Turn water on full force and wash your dishes in instant billowing suds. Rinse and rack them. They dry sparkling bright without wiping. Dishwashing is faster and easier than ever before. For Glim gives you greaseless dishwashing even in hardest water. There's no grease film on the water, no grease left on dishes, no grease ring around sink or dishpan. And yet Glim is as kind to hands as beauty soap. And it's more economical than soaps or powders, for Glim is concentrated. A single bottle gives you 50 dishwashings. Try it. Today at your grocer's, get the bottle with the bright red label that says Glim. Glim. Nona from Nowhere is from the original radio play by Frank and Ann Hummert and produced under their supervision. Dialogue by Helen Walpole. Stars of the show are Nona Brady, played by Tony Darnay, Vernon Dutel, played by Carl Weber, and Pat Brady by James Kelly. This is Ford Bond speaking and asking you to join us on this station at this same time Monday when the amazing new story of Nona from Nowhere will again be brought to you by Babbo, the grease-dissolving cleaner, and by Glim, the amazing liquid that gives you greaseless dishwashing.
This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Night Beat.
Hi, this is Randy Stone. I cover the night beat for the Chicago Star. The stories I run into start in a million different ways. This one began with a gun in my face and ended with the number 13.
Night Beat, starring Frank Lovejoy as Randy Stone.
It's night again in Chicago, and that's when I start out looking for a story that'll make you say, it takes all kinds to make a world. Yeah, it sure does. One by one I pass them. That girl over there with her hair held tightly in place by a scarf. Each carefully marceled wave a hopeful assurance that she'll end up looking like somebody in a movie magazine. Or that beaten old man picking a crumbled, soiled newspaper out of a rubbish can. Why does he want a paper? He knows tomorrow will be the same for him no matter what happens in France or England or just around the corner. So tonight, I found myself in a quiet section of the residential district. I wondered what was behind the lighted squares of glass and what went on. Who were those people and what were their problems? I kept going and I walked into...
I beg your pardon.
Oh, yes?
I hesitate to bother you, sir, but do you have a match?
Have a lighter, will that do?
Thank you.
There you are.
Oh, just a moment.
Yeah.
I am afraid I didn't get a light after all.
What's the matter, Pop? Afraid to ask me for the touch? Here.
Please, put your hands up.
What?
I'm not joking. I have a gun.
Oh, I see it.
Put your hands up.
Okay. Like this?
I warn you, I'll shoot if you try anything.
Well, rule number one when facing a stick-up man who's obviously pulling his first job, be very careful.
It's not my first.
Oh, a hardened old offender,
Hand me your wallet.
What, with my hands in the air?
Well, put them down, but remember what I said now.
Sure. Why is a nice-looking old man like you doing this?
Stop talking and hand me your wallet.
All right. Here.
Now turn around. Face the wall. And don't try to follow me.
Pop, hand me the gun and tell me all about it.
Don't come to me.
The gun, Pop. Now hand it over. We'll have a talk. Maybe over a cup of coffee.
Stay away, I said.
I should have had better sense. A novice at a stick-up is like a kid with the Einstein theory. He doesn't know what it's all about, and he shoots out of sheer fright and nervousness.
That sharp, searing pain across my temple before I blacked out told me a bullet had creased my skull. That's all I remembered until I woke up in a precinct police station.
Well, coming out of it, huh, Stone?
Oh, my head, Kalski, did you get him?
Nope. Prowl car picked you up. Somebody reported a shot.
Oh, and you brought me here.
Want to try sitting up?
Oh, sure. Oh. How close was it?
Quarter of an inch from pay dirt, I'd say.
Kalski, you are now looking at a prize boob.
Oh?
Oh, yes. Yes, I had tried to take a gun away from a stick-up man.
You ought to have better sense.
But this was different. I don't think he ever did it before.
I has to start sometime.
Yeah, but he, You want a description?
That's what I'm waiting for, Randy.
Man about 70.
70?
70.
Oh, with a long white beard.
Kalski, the man, was about 70. A little over 5.5 feet.
Sure. Name of Rip Van Winkle?
For all I know, it might be. When you find him, he'll have my wallet on him. Oh, and Kalski.
Yeah?
He's nervous enough to take a shot at anybody. Next time, you might be able to hold a gun a little steadier and on target. So, 10 minutes later, I left the precinct station. Kalski put out a call for the little old man who made like Jesse James. I went back to my desk at the Star. Maybe I had a story. I wanted to wait until the police picked up the old man because whatever made him turn bandit was a story. An hour passed, and I was just about getting ready to give up.
Oh, hi, Mr. Stone.
Oh, hello, Larry.
I didn't come in this time of night. You're almost always out.
Larry, you don't know how close I was to that. Permanently.
Hurt your head?
Yeah.
How?
Well, I was wearing my hat with a feather in the band.
Huh?
Yes, I got mixed up in a badminton game.
I don't get it.
Well, you work on it, kid. I'll see you tomorrow.
Oh, I get it. Feather, badminton.
A for effort, Larry.
Oh, hey, I almost forgot.
What?
Here's a package for you.
For me? What is it?
I don't know. Open it up and see.
That's working them out, kid. Where did you get this?
Hey, that's a wallet with some dough in it.
It's mine. I said, where'd you get this?
Dan gave it to me.
Where is she?
Left, I guess.
By the elevator?
I guess so. Leastways, she was waiting for it when I...
You sure it wasn't a man?
I'm old enough to tell the difference.
Oh, I stand here chewing the phone.
Hey, what's going on? Hey, Mr. Stone.
Larry, stay by the phone. Take down anything that comes in. The woman who brought back my wallet had 8 floors to go down on that slow night elevator. I had a chance to beat her to the lobby, so I took the stairs 5 at a time. And then I was in the lobby, but the elevator had beaten me down. I ran over to the night man.
Well, hello there, Mr. Stone.
How are you?
You didn't come down in the elevator?
Yeah, how long you been down here?
Oh, just a couple of seconds.
A woman ride down with you?
Yeah, from your floor.
She go outside?
Yeah. Hey, something wrong?
Come on with me, will you?
Why all the fuss?
Would you recognize the woman if you saw her again?
Oh, I guess so.
Now, take a look both ways. Tell me if you see her.
Had on a little hat, old lady, too.
Old? How old?
60, 65, thereabouts.
You see her?
Ain't sure, but I think that's her at the bus stop.
Which side of the street?
Other side, next block.
Okay, thanks. See you later. Maybe it was she, maybe it wasn't. I hurried across the street just as a bus pulled up and took on a passenger. A little old lady wearing a little hat. I reached the stop as the bus was pulling away.
Hey, you always stick your head in front of buses like that, Buster?
Yeah, I get results in rides that way.
Yeah.
There were other vacant seats in the bus, but the one I wanted was next to a little old lady. A little old lady whose eyes were red, as though she'd been having a real good old-fashioned cry. She didn't even notice me sit down on the seat beside her. For a moment, I just sat and watched her frail, blue-veined hands pulling on a wet handkerchief and sobbing. There's something wrong, lady.
No, I'm all right.
Thanks for returning my wallet. There's $10 missing.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know anything about your wallet.
You know, be easy to check that. We get off, we take a bus back to the Star Building. There's a night man and an office boy who saw you.
This is my stop.
2 blocks from the paper? That's a short ride. Now, look, I don't know what this is all about, but I'm willing to learn. Now, you can either tell me here or we can go somewhere else.
Can't you forget it, please?
Forget it. I could have been killed.
I know, but he didn't mean it.
Who was he, or who is he?
He's my husband.
Oh. Well, do you want to talk about it?
If I tell you why he did it, will you help him?
Look, let's get off this bus. We'll take a cab to... Well, where?
I want to go home. I want to go home.
All right. I'll take you home. But something tells me I'm sticking my neck out.
Will you sit down, Mr. Stone?
No, not right away. Is your husband here?
No.
All right, let's have the truth, Mrs. Benson. Why did your husband hold me up?
It was the only way he could get the money tonight.
Well, why tonight?
We need $200 by tomorrow morning.
Oh? Then why return my wallet to me with over $50 in it? Why didn't he keep it all?
He needed just enough to...
Enough for what, Mrs. Benson?
I want to show you something. Then you'll understand. Here. Look at these.
Now, what are these?
Look at them.
Yes, I'm looking. Well, what do they mean? Figures, problems, pages of them, notebooks filled with...
His system for winning at roulette.
Winning it? Oh, no.
For the last 10 years, he's done nothing but work on it.
Well, there's always one of those, the big brain who can sit down and beat the little numbers that go around.
Oh, please.
Does he have any idea how many of these systems have put period to a lot of rosy dreams?
He believes in it.
Yeah, they all do.
Harry's no fool. He's a brilliant man, Mr. Stone. He was a professor of mathematics.
Was?
Yes. But they said he was too old. Retired him.
No other jobs?
Nobody wanted a mathematician or a man almost 70.
Yeah, but this gambling, he should know better. The odds are never with the player, only with the house.
At first it was just a hobby. He liked to work out the odds, and then when things got desperate...
Yes, and now?
We have the cent.
And tonight he's going to play his big system. Where?
I don't know. I told you, I don't know.
Did he take the gun?
No, he left it here.
Well, that's one good thing anyway.
What will you do now?
I don't know.
And the police?
They're looking for him already.
Oh, get to him first, Mr. Stone.
Why?
He won't let himself be arrested like a thief. That's the last thing he said. He wouldn't let the police arrest him.
You are listening to Night Beat, starring Frank Lovejoy as Randy Stone.
So there I had it, a little old ex-professor of mathematics with another system for beating an unbeatable game. There's something in each of us that makes every individual believe he's different. The I can do better philosophy is human. If it weren't, we wouldn't have the Brooklyn Bridge, the better mousetrap, or the fellow who blinks his eyes in bewilderment and says, I thought I had it all figured out. Okay, I decided to go after Professor Benson. I headed for a spot where I thought I might pick up some information.
What's in your mind, Stone? You said you wanted to see me.
Just for a minute, Curley.
Okay, what?
How's the game going?
Win a little, I lose a little. You want in?
No, not tonight. Tell the truth, Curley, I'm looking for a bigger layout.
Blue chips here are 500. How big can you get?
Oh, some. But this is a private poker party.
Yeah, I wouldn't want news of it to get around.
Oh, don't worry, Curley. I did you a favor.
Now, remember, give me a break in your paper. Okay, what do you want?
I want to know where there's a roulette layout.
Don't know?
You get around.
Some, but I don't talk about it.
Just this once, Curley.
Why?
I'm looking for somebody who might be playing.
Why?
I gotta find it.
Why?
Oh, Curley, you're repeating yourself.
Anything else? Maybe I'd do you a favor. This? No. Besides, I don't think there's a wheel in town.
I think there is.
Okay, you think. Now, so long, sir.
All right.
Oh, before you go...
Yeah.
If I were you, I'd make this the last stop. You ask funny questions, and you might not get such funny answers.
It was the same in the other three places. And after hitting each one, I checked with the police, but Professor Benson seemed to have got himself swallowed up somewhere in the 1,000 square miles of Chicago. And then I was on my way again, trying to remember all the likely places until...
Hi. Mind if I walk with you?
Now, what if I did?
Oh, I'd walk anyway. I need exercise. My doctor says so. Hey, you got a doctor?
Yeah. What's your problem?
Oh, not much you couldn't clean up, Stone.
Oh, you know me, hmm?
Sure, everybody knows Randy Stone. You're real famous, like. You're getting even more famous tonight.
What's the answer to that?
You've been around a few places.
And that's illegal?
No, but it's silly.
Okay, so I'm silly. So long. Glad to meet you.
Hey, not so fast, Stone. We got to talk.
On what subject?
Money? That suit you?
All right. Get rid of it. What have you got to say?
Look, Stone, everybody wants peace and quiet. The whole world's in a mix-up because one guy don't agree with the other guy, right?
Oh, my. Another big thinker with brass knuckles.
Yeah. Now, like I say, everybody wants peace and quiet. But there's a lot of guys have to make a living in a funny way.
Why don't you get to the point?
Sure. Now, take you, for instance, for example, huh? Your boss says, Stone, go out and see how many gambling joints are buzzing. So you, being a nice hard worker, you go out.
Nobody sent me out for that.
Okay, so nobody sends. But somebody sends me.
So what about it?
Nothing. Only everybody likes to see everybody else happy. Maybe this could do it for you.
How much is that?
$1,000.
I'm stirring up a lot of muddy water, huh?
Yeah. You've been at 3-4 places. And to the cops.
Not for what you think.
I ain't paid to think, only to carry out orders. This is one. Want the dough?
Listen, I'm only looking...
Yeah. Looking for somebody. Cut it out.
I'm telling the truth.
I'm telling the truth, too. Stone, put your nose in one more place where they don't like stuck-in noses. And somebody will push it right to the back of your head.
Sometime, somewhere, somebody said there's nothing like a quiet fireside, complete with pipe and slippers. But can you make a career out of it? For that matter, can you make a career out of a hold-up, a creased skull, and a nasty little hoodlum? Well, I was trying to. And just to find an ex-professor who had a very common disease. I can't lose-itis. Okay, I'd try 1 or 2 more places, and then I'd quit. I got the same answers. And by this time, the name of Randy Stone was enough to close more doors than a quarantine sign. I was asking for it, and I got it.
Stone.
Huh?
Here I am again.
Oh, yes, I see. Okay, you win. Let's forget the whole thing.
Just like that, huh? Over here, you guys. You brought some friends.
I said you win. Let's forget it.
Yeah, you was told. You didn't pay attention.
Here's your head, fella. Beat me up, and every newspaper in town will get the story. They'll really split things open.
I got orders.
Well, forget him. Go back and tell the guy.
I got orders. Besides, you ought to be a good example. Any other cookie who thinks he's a one-man vice squad. You guys close it.
Now, listen to me. I'm not out to set up a knockover for anything. I'm hunting for someone.
Don't go through that again.
It's the truth.
Max, start the ball rolling.
You're an idiot.
To think you could have had $1,000 instead of this. Hey, now your nose looks much better.
A professional working over is done with finesse. It's meant to stop just short of murder, but leave a nasty memory. When I came to, I was propped against a building in the alley, and the world at that moment was a bad place. And I was mad, and my anger was for the little professor with his system. Now I really wanted to find him and turn him over to the police. But I couldn't find him the way I'd started out. No one to talk. No one except perhaps one person. One of those strange, pathetic creatures known as a stoolie. I cleaned myself up in the nearest washroom, grabbed a cab, and went to see him at a dirty, shabby rooming house. He was there.
Look, Randy, you got yourself worked over already. What do you want from me, huh?
Just a little information, Gus.
Yeah, I know. Nobody comes to me except for that. Someday I'm going to buy a chicken farm and get out of this business.
Yeah, now listen, you know everything that goes on in this town, within limitations.
Yeah, I know plenty, but not everything.
Well, most of it. I want you to find out something for me.
Yeah?
There's a roulette wheel somewhere.
I don't know nothing.
Oh, come on, Gus, come on.
Randy, sir, help me. Hope to kiss a pig. Nothing.
Don't be afraid, Gus. I'm not starting a cleanup. I just want to find something.
I know from nothing.
For $50?
Huh?
$50.
It ain't good, Randy. I done a lot of favors for the cops. They shoot square with me. They kind of see I don't get hurt, but you...
This isn't a crusade. I want to find someone.
You leveling, Randy?
I'm leveling.
Well, if you ain't, if anything happens, both of us could end up real bad in the red. I do a nice business.
All right, just between you and me, Gus. Now, how about it?
$75?
Okay, 75.
Now?
I haven't got it on me. You know I'm good for it.
Then send it to me, not in person.
All right. I'll send it to you.
Uh-huh. Now, who do you want to find?
So I left it with Gus, and he arranged to call me at a pay station as soon as he learned anything. I waited in front of the phone for an hour, and then an hour and a half. And all the while I wondered what was happening with Professor Benson. The thing was building up in my mind. It'd be ironic if his system worked with my money. What would I do? What could I do? Whose money would it be? Then the call came through in the booth. Hello?
Randy?
Oh, yeah, Gus.
Yeah, I got what you want. But you got to promise no knockover.
No, I told you that.
Okay. There's a little guy like you told me about. He's playing the wheel.
Where?
Remember the old Dixie Club?
Yeah.
Okay, there's a layout in the back. Everything from Pharaoh to one-armed bandits. All fancy.
And he's there?
Yeah. And Randy.
What?
You better get there quick.
Why? What's the matter?
This guy's hotter than a $2 pistol, and the boys running the joint are getting cross with him.
All right. I'll see you.
Now, hold it.
What?
Will you? You gotta know how to get in.
Yeah, that might be handy. How do I do it?
Well, when you get to the door, just say, the name is McGrady. See?
Yeah. McGrady. I went back to Mrs. Benson because I figured I might need her. And then the two of us went to the old Dixie Club. From the outside, it looked like a boarded-up house. But Gus knew what he was talking about. A knock on the door, it opened a tiny bit, and I was McGreedy. And the door opened all the way. Mrs. Benson and I went in, back to a big room filled with people. But the dice game was deserted, so was the blackjack table, and the faro layout, also the poker tables. But the crowd pressed in against the roulette table, around a little old man whose face was flushed and whose skin glistened with perspiration. In front of him was a huge stack of chips, and as Mrs. Benson and I approached the table...
Number 11, black.
I won. I won again. It's working. You see, everyone, it's working.
Hello, Benson.
Stone.
Uh-huh. Doing all right, huh?
Please, you're not here to take me away.
Well, that's the general idea.
Harry, come with us.
Oh, no. Look, I've got all this, and there's more to come.
Okay, you're ahead. But there is something else. Earlier this evening, you...
Here's your money. Take it.
Harry, I've never seen you like this.
Sure. All this money, yours and mine.
Yeah, all right. Now, come on. Pick it up and let's go.
No. I won't let you take me till I play to the end of my system.
Your system, yeah.
Yes. I've waited for this. Waited till I knew I was right. Now you want to...
Take it easy. What's your trouble, mister?
Are you speaking to me?
Right to you.
Who are you?
I happen to run this place.
Well, it's slightly illegal.
Who are you?
I'll tell you. He's a newspaper man. His name is Stone, and he wants to take me away.
Stone, huh? How'd you get in here?
I know a man named McReady.
I wish I knew how you got to know him.
I was introduced. Now, let's cut out the small talk.
$5,000 isn't small talk. That's what he's into me for.
Any objection if he takes it and leaves?
I won't. You listen to me.
Harry, don't you know what you've done tonight?
Yes, I do. I've won for us.
All right, then take it and leave.
No, I said no. For 40 years, I gave everything I had to other people. What did they give me? A gold watch and a wonderful speech. But Dora and I couldn't eat the speech. Maybe if you spent over half your life in trying to...
Harry.
All right, well, what do we do now?
It's up to him. He's playing a closed table. If he wants to go on, all right.
I do.
That answer you, Stone?
And what'll happen?
What do you mean by that?
Figure it out.
I see. You know what could happen, don't you, Stone?
Sure, I've met a few muscle boys already tonight.
Could get worse.
Okay. All right, Benson, it's your funeral. You've got $5,000 in front of you now. You can take it and leave, or you can play. Suit yourself.
I'm going to play.
No, Harry, no.
I've got 2 more numbers, Dora, 2 more.
Okay, place your bet, Benson.
Yes. 27, red. $1,000. Will you take that much?
I'll cover it. Go ahead.
Harry, for the last time, don't.
No matter what we say, he'll do it. Let him go.
27, red.
All right, spin it.
Sure.
And be careful.
Yeah, I'll be careful.
Please spin the wheel.
Oh, Harry.
What's the matter?
Nothing. Go on, spin it.
Sure. Number 27, red.
You see, you thought I was crazy, but look at it. I've won again.
Harry!
Benson! Come on, help me get him away from this.
Take him into my office, will you? Get him away from here.
I've got to play one more.
Yeah, sure. You've got to play one more number. Give me a hand, somebody, please. That's it, thank you.
Don't
Come on,
take me away.
Benson. Come on. All right, on the couch. This way.
You don't understand. There's one more number. My money. Where is it?
It's at the table. Now, take it easy.
No, my money. Somebody will steal it.
It'll be all right.
Dora, go back and get it. Dora, go
I'll
back.
call for a doctor.
No. Let me out.
No, Harry, lie down.
My money. Get it, Dora. Get it.
All right.
It.
Stay with him, Mrs. Benson. Don't let him up.
Yes.
Well?
How much does he have coming?
Including the last spin, 41,000.
Can you cover?
I'll cover.
All right, cash these.
Wait a minute. Maybe he wants to play some more.
He's finished playing. Cash these.
Okay. Eddie, get 41,000 in the safe and...
No! Leave it there.
What?
Leave it there.
What are you talking about?
He wants to play it.
Oh, he's crazy. Let me talk to him.
No, he won't listen. He wants to play it to the end. He made me promise I would.
What? Well, do you want to?
I promised.
All of it?
Yes.
Can you cover that much?
Not at 35 to 1. 20 cents on the dollar, take it or leave it. Take it and I'll spin. Leave it and I'll close the wheel now.
I'll play it.
Oh, for the love of heaven, Mrs. Benson, it's $41,000 here. Do you realize you can lose?
He said I couldn't.
But he's got...
I promised I'd play it on number 21.
Oh, let me talk to him. Let me...
No, I made a promise. Play it.
41,000 on number 21, red. Is that what you want? All right.
A fair spin.
A fair spin. And the last one.
Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
All right. 21, red. Number 13, black. How about that, fellas?
Are you satisfied, Mrs. Benson?
Yes, I am. I didn't want it to win. I didn't want that money because it killed him.
It killed him?
Yes, he's dead.
What? Oh, Mrs. Benson, what can I say?
Oh, I was so sure. And I lied to him. I lied. But I didn't want it. It killed him.
You lied? No, you kept your promise. You played for him.
Here.
But his system, it's... Well, Mrs. Benson, you played 21.
I know. And his last number was 13.
Well, here I sit, back in the office, wondering, watching the lights go out and the dingy gray of dawn creeping through the streets. And somewhere out there is an old woman, a lonely old woman who could have had almost $50,000, but at the loss of something that no amount of money could buy back for her. The man who quit while he was ahead. Yep. Where there's a winner, there's a loser. That's the way it's been, and that's the way it'll always be. Oh, well. Copy, boy.
Night Beats, a new dramatic series, stars Frank Lovejoy as Randy Stone. Tonight's story was written by Russell Hughes. Night Beat is edited by Larry Marcus and directed by Warren Lewis. Music by Frank Worth. Others in tonight's cast were Jane Morgan, Stan Waxman, Wilms Herbert, William Tracy, Gerald Moore, and Jack Crucian. Frank Lovejoy will next be seen in Milton Sperling's production Rock Bottom, released by Warner Brothers. Throughout the week, NBC brings you the very best adventure mystery dramas on the air. you'll hear action-packed, fast-moving plots hold your interest right up to the smashing climax on NBC's thrilling mystery shows. During these stellar programs, you'll hear mystery and intrigue, adventure, and high-tension drama. Match your powers of observation against the best in detective fiction, in solving crimes and unraveling intrigue. There's fast-moving action to lift you from beside your radio into the romantic land of mystery and adventure. These exciting dramas are as interesting as tomorrow's race results today, and you'll hear them every night over most of these NBC stations. Remember, if it's mystery and adventure dramas you're tuned for the best on NBC. Listen next week at this same time and every week as Randy Stone searches through the city for the strange stories waiting for him in the darkness. The stories that come out of the shadows to find their way into Night Beat. Now, stay tuned for Brian Donlevy as a soldier of fortune on dangerous assignment on NBC.